sorry, and has something on my face. Because of course I do. Yeah. Um, I have no idea how we're going to do this. I have no idea how we're going to have two people on camera at the same time and actually get to hear anything. Wait, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do have a solution for that.
I have a solution for it. Hello, fire.
Um, well, actually, do you want to sit over there? I'm going to take that chair and bring it closer and try and get us both on camera because you want to talk to the thing for a minute? I'm going to go get the box that I've used to keep the window.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rad Mom's husband. Yay. I am not a rad dad. I am sorry, everyone. I was hoping to debate and talk with her about something that she had on her mind because I think she's smart and I like talking with her. Hi, Mary. She just walked away. She will be here in one moment. Mary, where are you calling in from? Or typing in from? She may have said it was moved to noon, then she forgot. She does that sometimes. Oh, Philly! I love Philly. I had a friend that lived over there. We went a couple of times, oh God, 20 years ago.
Anyone showing up to keep you company?
Well, Mary's here.
Hi, Mary!
She said that you said that today's was moved at noon.
Oh. Well, good, then we're not late. I forgot.
I told her you probably forgot.
Then we're not late. That's good. Because no, I felt late. I was gonna be late. I was late. That's not gonna work.
Why don't you on the phone? You do it, and I'll just leave the voice off to the side. Nobody needs to see this mug.
You're early. Ha ha! Hooray! Listen, nobody wants to hear a random man's voice in the background without explanation. No one wants that.
Well, the explanation is I'm here to support you. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. But like,
No, pro tip, after 8 years of marriage, if you want her to be somewhere early, tell her it starts 15 minutes before it does. Is there anything I can do to help you out?
I don't know. I just need somewhere to put that thing. Look at the back porch. There's a table here.
Okay.
Like a high table, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take you around. Because if I go in and then randomly out of the house, sometimes the sound is for no reason.
Oh, it connects to one Wi-Fi, then when you leave, it connects to the other. Because that box has two
Why would that kill my sound?
connection speeds. I don't know.
Because magic happens. It's really just, it's one of those things.
It's not like the other.
No, not one of these things. One of those things.
Here, why don't you take your phone so they can see you, and I'll take your coffee so you can...
You heard that. What up, BF? How you doing? You heard that. He tried to get my coffee away from me.
I've got my own coffee.
He does. What he wants with mine, I have no idea.
It's always tastier when it comes out of your spouse's cup.
Yeah.
Do you want the spots?
I do, but I don't have time. Yeah.
I'll take it around.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Did you have your your next event you were talking about last time? I really admire. Heck yeah. Let's see, essence of life. Oh my god. No, but I do. I really admire how you're putting together and helping put together and attending all of these events tomorrow. Okay, cool. On a Sunday. It's fuck the Lord's Day, right? Oh my gosh. I should have brushed my teeth. Can't tell I'm a coffee drinker. My teeth aren't yellow at all. Is that her seat? Is she gonna be mad if I come out if she comes out here?
There's 2 other seats.
Okay. Always on Sundays. Rock and roll. Any particular reason or just because that's how it worked out? Has it just worked out that way? The cat is looking at me like, where's my breakfast? Biatch.
Oh, when Jamie gets home tonight, I'll take the van and we'll go grab some of that wood up the road.
That sounds good. Jade's day off. Gotcha. Who needs a day of rest? I mean, really. I forgot I can't put it. Wait, unless it's a special event, I missed something.
Figure.
Okay. So, you might be able to get a day off to go to a special event. That's cool. Can you still hear me? That's always the question. When we,
You're the star. I'll just lean in.
all right, Cheryl. Calm down.
Is that a Sex and the City reference?
No, I wouldn't know to make a Sex and the City reference.
I don't know who Cheryl is.
Sheryl Sandberg wrote the book Lean In.
I thought that was a song. No, that's Lean On Me.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
So much better than everything I've heard about that book.
Lean on in. If you want to be taken seriously, it's a man's world. And they'll keep
Wait, that's a song
you...
too.
Is it really?
It's a man's world.
Well, come on. There's only so many damn notes. I got to use something.
I want to say that's James Brown. Also, all I can see is my yellow teeth. Why didn't I not brush my teeth? I'm so stupid.
Your teeth are beautiful. And you're very pretty. Your teeth are 5.
Thank you. You're sweet. Oh. We got... Hello, Looney28. How are you? We got cut off last week, right in the middle of talking about possibly the most interesting and important thing I got going right now. Parasitic memes. I thought that was a fun place to randomly, mysteriously get cut off. I mean, it wasn't too random and mysterious. It just took a lot longer for the sound to get cut off when I went back in the house than it normally does.
What was the conversation about parasitic memes?
Well, I was really just sort of all good there. Awesome. I was just really sort of kind of laying out the idea just to see if anybody, just kind of throwing it to see if anybody caught it, And it seemed like they were understanding what I was saying. Which is that we all know what a meme is, but I don't mean like the comics, like Velociraptor or something. I mean like an idea, like a concept. I believe, original meaning of the word meme. And then somebody said something about religion being a meme, and I was like, you read that book too.
I haven't seen that one.
No, this is,
Well, her.
it's from A lot of this I got from The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's his whole point in that book, is that, yeah, religion is a meme. It's a pretty parasitic meme, and it's like one of the things that's actually come pretty close to killing its host. So, because, obviously smart parasites don't do that. And, so it had to adjust and evolve in order to not just, wipe us all out. So, when I say a parasitic meme, that's the kind of thing I mean. And what if you could do this on purpose? What if you could come up with an idea, a concept, that looks beneficial and positive, but in practice is actually alienating and destructive? What then? What if you could actually actively spread and weaponize these ideas? And the scariest part about this is it's already been done.
I think that's called the CIA.
Yeah, no, it was called Soviet Russia.
Oh.
Yeah, it's already been done. Hunted down VF for you 3 times this week, too. Oh my God. To remind her that this was at noon. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Guys, I made breakfast for her, and she's like, I can't eat. It's at 11 o'clock.
Oh my God.
So now I get to gently remind her, you could have had eggs. Would you like me to get your biscuits? I buttered your biscuits.
She's glad everyone is on time. No, I in a little bit. I don't want them to sit out here and get flies on them.
Okay.
I walked past the oldest, cutest couple holding hands in the parking lot of the grocery store a little while ago. Couple goals for real. It was a man and a woman, but it could have been anyone. They were 70 if they were a day, and they were holding hands walking through the parking lot. And I was just, oh my God, that is so cute. And it didn't look like either of them was trying to keep the other one from running away. So.
Did I tell you about the gay couple that I ran into a couple months ago? They were 2 just adorable gay men holding hands, and one had a Vietnam veterans cap, and the other had a U.S. Marines
About to
cap.
ask Law. Oh, if they were both a man and a woman.
Oh.
So, go on.
Oh, no, I was heading over to that direction. We were in the meat area over at Food City, and I was walking over, and I thought one was just pushing the other in the wheelchair, like a VFW thing.
Right.
And then they kissed. I'm like, oh.
So that's how it is. All right. Oh, this being rural Tennessee, you oftentimes don't necessarily see that kind of thing.
Well,
I
remember 15, 20 years ago when I lived in Massachusetts. The guy who lived next to me was gay. Jim. And he helped me get the apartment in that building. So, we were cool buddies. We went out, I guess I played third wheel. Like, he and I would go out and shoot pool sometimes through the date. But if a date was going really well, oftentimes they wouldn't kiss or do anything in 0 PDA just because of how people felt at the time. I mean...
Right, 20 years ago would have been before they... Well, shit. They didn't even actually do the marriage equality thing until like 2015, did they?
I don't know, but it was Massachusetts.
My next door neighbor is gay. He has a beautiful garden.
Right. Like, I feel that it's a stereotype, but it's so fucking true.
See, I used to live next door to a guy who had an amazing garden. Straightest scenario. Had a wife and kids and everything. And I don't think those 2 things are connected, but it's almost like gay people are people, right?
Well, I think the part of it is straight dudes don't do gardening. It's kind of like what we were starting to talk about, not at the restaurant, but a couple days before that, where society says some things are masculine, some things are feminine,
right.
Where, guys just aren't allowed to. It's almost like a movie trope where the super butch guy has a little plant he's struggling to keep alive to get in touch.
With his feminine side. Yeah, no,
Right,
okay,
right.
right. Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
And that's just like, I love to cook, and I can't tell you how many times I talk to people at work or something like that, like, oh, that's my wife's job. She cooks. I'm like,
Right. Well, that's.
I like cooking. I don't know if she's ever told you the story, so I'm going to tell you the story. We've been married for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. There were several stumps or bushes along the side of our house, and before we got married, I had tried to dig them up. I got around the roots, and I didn't have anything planned over there, so my goal was just to make sure that they didn't grow back up. I used the little sawzall, used an axe. What I couldn't dig up, I just left. And we had this one that was just, Jesus, it must have been 2.5, 3 feet long. I was not digging this thing up by myself. And so I hit it with the axe, poured some bleach on it. It was good to go. Dumped clay on it. It never grew again. Well, we get married, and she decides she wants to turn the side of the yard into a little garden. Fine. Love you, baby. Go at it. Not that I don't like gardening. I do not have green thumbs. I'm inside. I think I was making dinner and banana bread. Or was it rib? I was cooking. I was fat, happy, barefoot in the kitchen, just cooking away. And I hear this shriek of pain and ecstasy. And I come outside, and there's my wife holding this freaking Satan's incisor, just covered in glistening in sweat, red as a beet, holding this stump up in triumph. And I was like, do you want a muffin?
So, I guess the moral of that story is that sometimes gender roles are bullshit. Because I conquered the stump and he made the muffins. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You should try and do what you're good at. Oh, you enjoy. Not that I don't cook, because I do.
She does. With me working nights, she does the lion's share of the cooking. I like to take days like today and...
Women give birth, that's it. That's true.
And I don't know why you do it. I've heard some horror stories. Ladies, if it was up to men to give birth, we'd just die. Like the first time somebody, bled out the ass because the baby was breech. No.
She doesn't do it.
Solidarity.
Right. But we don't all do it. But we can, theoretically. I really do like the way King Critical says it about never given birth or even been pregnant. It's your body, you do what you want or don't. Do what you don't want. Yeah, that.
King Critical.
Yeah, he has his way of saying it's about being, having your physical, your phenotype organized around the production of large gametes. Which is a lot of large scientific words, but it's a pretty good definition because it doesn't necessarily... Yes, I did mention King Critical. I hope that's okay. I really like the way that he articulates things sometimes, so I have stolen a few of them, and I want to give him credit. Where credit is due. Jan Elliott says cute. Cool. Am I aware of Yogurt Gate? Oh, God. No.
Yogurt Gate. Spill the tea.
Oh, no. I have this terrible feeling that there's just, people being assholes. They have this terrible feeling.
I really hope that it's vegan yogurt isn't yogurt.
No, we already know that. No, it probably is. Somebody being a dick, probably. Thank you for the like, whoever did that. Yay.
Wait. Dicks aren't yogurt. I'm trying. I'm sorry.
I know I had. He ate yogurt and then apologized.
Team Critical?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What? What? I don't. What? Why? Why is any of that important? I don't understand. Oh, is he supposed to be a vegetarian or a vegan or something? And like, I don't know. You're sorry. Don't be. I'm sorry for being out of the loop.
Maybe that was the joke. I don't know.
Oh no. I mean, we also have had some conversations about separating the art from the artist and how you can't necessarily do that, so I would still want to credit him for... He had an emotional situation ship with another rad femme woman. Oh my... Oh! Right.
What?
He's engaged. Oh my goodness. He's also like 22 though.
Is he that young?
Boys. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not to make an excuse, but like, I'd be more surprised in any other.
I mean,
He's 27. Okay. She's 40. Not his fiance.
No, the one that he was.
Right, yeah. Right, not the fiance. It wasn't.
You know, it doesn't matter who it was.
No, I know. Right. Okay. Thank you for informing me of all of that. I don't need to know how in the world one would accomplish such a thing. That's horrifying.
Oh, don't. It's okay. You don't have to be sorry.
No, you have nothing to apologize for, honey. Thank you for telling me stuff that's pertinent and everything. Just I told my mom about this gossip too because we need to think about something other than men and women's prisons. Yeah, you know, distraction is sometimes really just the best medicine, isn't it? It really is.
Did you guys see the clip 2 weeks ago where I think it was a British Parliament member whose son guy had raped a woman, claimed that he was transgender to get put in a women's prison, and they were trying to put him in a men's prison, and he was dancing around the issue of saying, you know, that self-identification was a bad idea. That, you know, like, that this person wasn't legitimate, and they're like, well, you know, he followed the self-ID rules, and he's like, well, you know...
Wasn't that in Canada?
Was it Canada?
Because I think you told me about it, and I want to say it was Canada, and that's why I'm confused.
Oh, maybe it was Canada. They're all of the Queen's subjects, I don't know.
Because I didn't see it, but self-ID is always bullshit. Yeah. But so, no wait, this is something else I think. In Canada, there was somebody you saw. What up, Philological? How you doing? You were telling me something about a guy in Canada who is like, oh, the wrestler. Remember? Who's giving it a run for run for its money.
That's the weightlifter.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Somebody's really just giving the system the finger, being like, I know I'm not a woman, but I'm going to identify as one and whoop all your asses, and there's nothing you can do about it. So there.
Right. And he's calling on other... God, you're going to make me Google this, aren't you? But,
hey, Rad Mom's husband or Rad Dad. Oh, yes, that man. Mm-hmm. Mean Laurel Hubbard?
No. He's Australian. Or New Zealand. He's a Kiwi. This is a gentleman from Canada who identified as a woman solely to make a point of how ridiculous it is. Like, he broke the women's weightlifting record by, like 50%. I mean, like it was massive, and he went on stage, full beard, full male equipment. I guess male weightlifters have a different lower back belt than women.
Didn't bother shaving the beard because he's not trying to actually present as a woman. He's not actually doing that.
Right. The whole thing is he's calling on male athletes to compete in sports where the record is held by a trans athlete to draw attention to how ridiculous it is.
Taking the piss, exactly, yeah. It's a parody, yes, but they can't stop him. Because of the way the self-ID rules are written.
Right. And what...
the prosthetic breast teacher. In Canada. Yes, it's also in Canada. Exactly.
The beauty of it is the athlete who had held the record previously was there volunteering to support the event and got to watch him beat their record.
Canada is fucked. Yeah. You know, I mean, to be fair, I've lived next door to them my entire life. I spent a large portion of my life in Cleveland, Ohio, which, you know, if that lake were just a little bit more narrow, we could see Cleveland or Canada from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I say I've lived next door to them my whole life, I really mean it. And gosh, if I haven't gotten a lot more of a sense of who in the hell they are in the last few years than I ever used to. Oh, God.
So, Canada is one, you know Billboard Dad, right?
Yeah.
So there's legislation in the works that would make what he does illegal. Like, he could go to prison because they're going to, I think, classify as some sort of hate speech or something like that, harassment. Because, like...
Canada has that made, too. Oh, God, yeah.
What made?
Oh, I forget what it stands for, but it's a thing where you can literally just apply for assisted suicide. Medical assistance in dying. Thank you.
Oh. I like that.
Right, yeah, but they're...
It's like hospice care plus one.
No, because it's for anyone.
Okay.
Are you sad? You want the government to kill you? You can petition for them and they might.
I would like to think there's, some mental health that goes along before they...
No. It's for anyone at any time. No. No, they don't send you in for mental health care first. They're like, oh, you want to die? All right, cool. We'll sign you up.
Okay, well, the dystopian future part of me has a few warning bells going off.
Someone broke a hip and the doctor recommended it. Can't afford your rent? Made. Seriously, I've read about these too. Yeah, I saw both of those. I used to be pro-assisted suicide, but seeing how it's actually shaping out in Canada is giving me major second thoughts. You're an unhappy child? Made. Oh my God. The doctors are recommending it to save money. Yeah. Thank goodness they need your approval, eh?
Right.
Heaven forfend you are unconscious at any point.
Oh my God. Republicans were afraid that Obamacare would put in death battles.
Yeah.
And Canada did.
Canada did, yeah, apparently. And they've had their national health care for years. I don't know if there's a direct connection there.
I don't know. I mean, the UK has national health care.
Sort of. In theory. Oh, and you know about all the anti-abortion laws? They want the money from the placentas. If you're depressed, suicidal, you're perfect for me. Right, see. It's like a substitution for mental health care.
I guess that would be a thing. You use MAID.
I found that so weird because don't the private healthcare things have literal death panels? I mean...
They just deny everybody at first. So it's not really a death panel, it's a profit panel.
Yeah, and capitalism kills, so I guess the death part is really more of a secondary outcome.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. Yes. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you're such a good girl.
Here in the UK, our junior doctors are on strike. We've been told to accept deaths. Nice. Nice.
Side note, pound cold, they don't have Velvet on.
Y'all know how much money each placenta is worth? No, I don't. Hate that being out loud. Hey, fellow Brit Bunger. That's kind of late there. I would check my watch, but I can't find it. $100,000.
That makes sense. It's full of stem cells. It's full of. It doesn't have some sort of unique protein or.
One assumes. I actually don't know. I did not look into that. They're curing disease with it. Well, that's good.
I know when Owen was born, we had the option to save his placenta for like $1,000 in case he developed some sort of. There's types of cancers and stuff like that they can use the stem cells from the placenta to cure.
And the mother gets a hospital bill, right? Mm-hmm. That's why they're outlawing abortion. They want the placentas.
I don't think it's that. I think that's just a side effect. I think Republicans really just want to have that traditional family, and by forcing women to have children and to have families and additional responsibilities, it affects different communities more. It has a greater impact on different minorities, and they can use that to keep the whole society down.
And she's talking about a video from Whose Body Is It?
Oh.
Yeah. About, I guess somebody has some evidence for this.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't put it past them.
I'm sure there is some special interest groups that want the placenta, but I think that the, overall arch of it is going to be,
I will say it's the oldest trick in the book.
Do you need more coffee, my darling?
Not yet.
Here, let me finish it for you.
Why don't you just go get some?
She doesn't think I'm nearly as funny as I am. I'm underappreciated over here.
I'm just not funny. So
You're funny enough. But...
I have to make up for it somehow. What were we talking about before this? We got derailed. Placentas.
Oh.
Yeah. I was just going to say that, forcing women into maternity is the oldest trick in the book. And at the end of the day, it serves, to keep a lot of us tied down and distracted and afraid and tired and all of that. So if they don't care if the babies are dead. Like, I think someone might. They just want the placenta. Who, though? Like not everyone concerned about this.
Yeah, that really
Right.
sounds like some sort of special interest group, whether it's a beauty lobbyist or...
Seeing the way some Republicans talk about child marriage and young teenagers becoming mothers is insane. Biotech companies, medical tech.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see them not caring if the baby's dead or not. Thank goodness they're not politicians, I hope.
No, politicians are worse.
They might care if the baby dies, though. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They might. I wouldn't expect the tech company to, but a politician might. Just saying. There's a chance. Being a person and all, they might care.
I don't know. 20 years ago, I would have said, yeah. Oh my God, the 90s were 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I would have said yes.
30 years ago, you were 14.
And I was more naive. And I would have said, yes, politicians do care. Now, I'm a little bit more jaded, and I think they just want money.
Like I say, I think there's more of a chance they might, being a human being, as opposed to a company that isn't. And definitely
Hey.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, according to U.S. law, companies are people now.
Corporations are not people, my friend. They're not.
They identify as one.
They can't vote.
They vote with their dollars in the only way that matters. Like votes count.
Well, I figure if they're going to be... if they qualify for citizenship, then should they...
They can pay their taxes.
I was going to say they ought to. I mean, they're all male, right? They're very masculine, these corporations. They should have to sign up for the armed forces when they turn 18.
Raytheon, hello.
Right. What if corporations sexually identify as people? Right. Prove to me that a corporation has a sexual identity to begin with. They can't sexually reproduce.
Tell that to Budweiser.
Oh my God. Well, innovation, what can I say, huh? Gosh. Budweiser being innovative. There's something that hasn't happened in 150 years. This is the video.
Oh, she must be sharing a link.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought she was just telling us that, this was the video.
From whose body is it? Yeah.
I
am subscribed to her channel.
don't. You remember a few years back, a couple years, when Planned Parenthood came under attack? There was all those videos about some lobby group.
Jesus, that was probably 10 years ago.
Right. Like
yeah, right. Selling baby parts.
Right.
That ended up being nonsense.
Heavily edited and
yeah.
I don't know. It's.
No, I mean, I believe all of that. Like, that's all. They're not the only dog in that fight, though. They're not the only ones pulling for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, for your average person, the racist origins of gender-neutral language. All right. Yeah, she tends to wander off into some more sort of religious territory that I shy away from, personally.
Who's that?
Whose body is it? I had an exchange with her a while back.
That's a person, not a
someone's channel, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought the name of the video was Whose Body. Gotcha.
No, it was the racist origins of gender-neutral language.
Gotcha.
She's a little insane about COVID. Who isn't? I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of us are, right? No, we had an exchange in the comments a while back about angels, I want to say it was. No, like she doesn't believe in it. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that because I'm pretty sure the angel exchange was 2 or 3 years ago, really before a lot of this really hit the fan. And it was just something like, or it was, the devil makes you do things, I think is what it was. It was one of those. And I just was like, come along and saying, you mean this is a metaphor, right? And she didn't. So I was kind of like, okay, all right, I'm going to go back into my corner now. And you have yours, and we'll coexist, and that's cool. But I have nothing to add to a conversation about how the devil made you do anything. You see what I deal with? She's a little kooky, but has great guests. Yes. And, has some great videos. And I'm not going to sit here and, like I said, I still subscribe to her channel. I don't watch a whole lot of anything lately because I'm writing a book. Ask Kim, I don't do anything. I don't do anything. Occasionally cook and bathe the child, and maybe sleep.
Sometimes. It's a struggle to get her into the bed. That's why I have to use the tie-downs.
That was a joke. But watch that video for proof of what I said. Okay. That's something we can put on while we're, hanging out in the kitchen or something.
Yeah, I gotta do some stuff in the kitchen today after this.
If you want to know more about the placentas. Thank you, yeah. Like I say, I believe that. I know for a fact I've met so many, living in East Tennessee, I've met so many people who share that sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
And not because of placentas. These are ordinary people who just feel that women's natural place is in the birthing bed, and, that pill that they came out with really messed up, just everything.
No, we just got our daughter
Oh,
an IUD, a 5-year IUD, because in Tennessee we don't know if other forms of birth control are going to be viable, if they're going to be around in the next couple of years.
yeah, so we got her protected. You get the birth control shot. Yep.
Isn't that a monthly shot though?
I think there are several kinds.
Well, I know they got the rods that stick in your arm for 5 years.
Right. How often do you need to get that? $3.
Okay, quarterly, not bad.
And that's in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, she's from Philly.
Well, in Pennsylvania is like Ohio in that in some ways, every 3 months you get a shot. Haven't had my period since 2011. See, I'm one of those women that idea just wigs me out so much. Like, that sounds so strange to me. I don't understand people freaking out about us supposedly not adhering to natural gender roles anymore. They're biologically programmed. We'll choose to do them if given a choice. And a lot of people do. That's the thing. You know, is it a lot of people in one way or another do end up living a fairly mundane life, right? You know, it's pair bonding is natural and a normal and natural, you know, urge that we all share. Yeah, exactly. Like, probably most women want to become mothers, and that's grand. And a lot of them, and right. It's something like 70-30, I want to say. We just shouldn't give flack to the women who don't. Exactly. Exactly. That large 30% chunk of women who are just like, nah. You know, somewhere along the lines of that to, oh my God, no, you know. That's... I don't understand why having options is such a big deal. I don't either. I don't get that. My life has ended up looking a lot more mundane and ordinary than I ever would have expected. And a lot of the time I like that a lot more than I ever would have expected. But that doesn't necessarily mean that would work that way for everyone. I don't see why that has to follow. I don't need to justify my life choices by making them everyone's. What the fuck?
How do you know if you made the right choices?
Am I happy?
What if somebody makes different
30%?
choices than you?
I've assumed it's 5 to 10%. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I really do. I think it's 25 to 30% of women have a lower than, lack that maternal impulse, that urge. At least as a younger person, I actually was one of them. Okay, so that's a tricky point. I sort of stumbled into all of this, and that's one of the ways I ended up learning about epigenetics. Yeah. Because it turns out who you are can change biologically when you find yourself in a certain situation. I think the easiest one and the most obvious one would be some sort of actual, real, stressful survival situation. When you find yourself under that kind of stress, it flips a switch in your brain that you can't unflip. That after that, you're not quite the same person ever again. Having a baby can be like that. And speaking for myself, I have told this story a couple of other times. That switch didn't really get flipped until my first one was like 3 months old. So, it's just sort of going through the motions. You feed them, you change them, you put them to bed, you keep them warm. It's not complicated.
No, I feel you, because I didn't want kids either. And then after Mara got pregnant, it wasn't until I had that dream that I was really, that it just kind of like flipped the switch in my head.
Right.
And then when she was born, I was like, well, this is me now.
Right.
Life goal. Don't be like your dad.
Right. It's a good goal. It's a pretty wide target to hit too,
Well, start with the wide side of the barn and narrow into,
Philological balance. To know about your dream.
So I had a dream that she was only a couple of days old. She needed a bath, and I had one of those. I just bought this blue baby bath thing from Walmart, and I had filled the tub up a little bit, and I was giving her a bath. And in the dream, the water was still running, and I had to walk away. And when I came back, the tub was full of water, and I could see my daughter drowning. And when I tried to reach in through the water, I couldn't break the surface tension. Like, I kept hitting the water, I couldn't get to her. And I watched her drown. And after she drowned, I could reach in and pick her up. And I was doing CPR, but I couldn't save her. I watched my baby turn blue in front of my face. And then I woke up. And then I grabbed my daughter. And I was like, oh my God. That was probably the worst dream I've ever had. And
now she's 17, so all is well.
I haven't killed her.
No.
Parenting successful. She survived.
It was all a dream the whole time. No, me, it was just I took him. Oh my God, that sounds so traumatic. Yeah.
Yes.
So how would anyone react after something like that, right? And mine was just that I took him in for his 3-month inoculations. And there's this tiny baby, and they're sticking him and he's screaming in pain. And I just, that was the moment when I was like, oh my God, come here. I couldn't do it anymore. Well, I wasn't fighting it, because I had 9 months to prepare mentally, but it wasn't quite enough, I guess. Fake it till you make it sometimes really is the answer.
We made this work.
Whatever, we made it, now we have to fake it. That's the problem.
Oh, it was backwards.
Yeah. No wonder this hasn't been working. You've been doing it backwards all this time. I'm getting nothing good about this.
She only keeps me around for my cooking.
That I can't eat for half the time. Oh my God. Anyone else have that thing where your nerves take your appetite away? That's true.
What happened?
I think about we made it, now we have to fake it. Oh, that's marriage, yeah. Right, yeah, you've had that. That happens to me all the time. Or, I'll just be busy and concentrating on something that isn't food. When your nerves get really bad, you take a CBD edible.
If it was legal in this state.
Yep. We're surrounded on two sides now, though.
My hypothesis has always been once Kentucky legalized it, which they just did.
They're magic, honestly. Just physically stops your body from having a panic attack. See, I have... CBD is legal here. It's anything with THC in it isn't legal here. I have had the CBD gummies before. I got them for your birthday a couple of years ago. All they did was put me to sleep. But on the other hand, I'm an old school stoner, so that your mileage may vary, I guess, based on your own personal chemistry. I think Yeah. You were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
I forgot.
It's the same in the UK. CBD is legal, but THC isn't.
Oh, I think that Tennessee is going to be 5 years behind Kentucky. Because Kentucky just legalized medical marijuana. By 2030, we'll have it.
We're in Chica Feministas in California says they're all just too happy with the THC.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
It's too happy with the THC.
I'm in California. We are all just maybe too happy with THC. Yeah. I mean, I think it's actually more along the lines of private prisons and stuff, but I digress. You were saying 5 years.
Oh, I think Tennessee will legalize either medical or cannabis straight out, by 2030. The thing that's going to hurt us and that I just didn't predict is fucking Marsha Blackburn, God, I want to say she's the most evil person in the world, but there's still Betty DeVos. But Blackburn took tons and tons of money from the people who helped who made OxyContin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opioid people.
And marijuana.
Helps you quit pills.
Right. If you can treat your pain in other ways that isn't heroin.
Yeah. Yeah. It's essentially opium. I was thinking about that the other day. It's all, essentially that, right? That same drug that 150 years ago, had people glued to the floors of opium dens because, they were just in this addictive stupor. And they just keep repackaging it. That's so weird. God, the OxyContin stuff is actually evil. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's bad around here. It's still, to this day, it's bad here.
It got my ex-wife, when she had a gastric bypass.
Right, that was a while. That was 15 years ago. No.
Right.
20.
Right. She had the gastric bypass up in New England. Then when we moved down here, when she was complaining about back pain because of that, they just threw it at her. When I hurt my back, they just said, "Oh, you hurt your back? Wow, yeah."
You ever wonder what it'd be like to be a doctor, pharmacist, whatever, at these conferences where they encourage you to get people addicted to this stuff? How would you live with yourself?
Money.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that certain, the level of the strength of your conscience varies from individual to individual. I feel, yeah. Some people would have a larger fight about that with themselves than others. So, maybe you might quit, right? That's probably what I would end up doing. But obviously not everyone was a conscientious objector there.
And also, the drug was heavily not mislabeled, misappropriated?
Misapplied?
No, not misapplied. Misrepresented.
It was misrepresented. They told the doctors it wasn't addictive.
Right.
Which seems absurd, but...
Right, and there was one...
my favorite one is they told them, when your patient comes in, behaving as if they are becoming addicted to the medicine, it's actually because they're not getting enough of it, and you should give them more. Yeah, that's what they were telling the doctors for a while, so... It's really hard to know where all the fault lies. Yes, for real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were a lot of transcripts and inter-office notes that came out when... I was following on NPR.
The Sackler Sunday.
Thank you.
There was a trial. It sounds like a joke. It does sound like a joke. But no, this is what they were telling these doctors about how this medicine worked. This was the official literature, the official line on this for years.
And then they had to come out with Suboxone, which made getting high, it made you sick. And they said, "Oh, you can't abuse Suboxone." Then people started abusing Suboxone. Like, guys, I know people who would cut up the pain patches and boil it and then reduce the gel to get the medicine. I'm so happy I don't hang out with my ex-wife anymore. Like,
I've heard some stories that curl your hair, you guys. Oh my God.
Like, it really is, the people around you affect your life.
They really do, yeah. Yeah.
God, the horror story. Like, guys, this woman's a saint. When we first got together, did you ever tell me when we got together?
Yeah, I don't think so, no.
Oh my God. So a couple years ago.
Everything is a couple of years ago with this man. It was almost 8, actually. Oh, the 15th is actually
I know.
8 years. What's the date? I don't even know.
Is that the day?
It might be. I think it's tomorrow.
No, it's tomorrow because
we don't know when our anniversary is. You see this together.
It's today!
Oh my God.
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary. Oh my God.
They work too much, my love.
But at least one of us isn't standing around tapping their toe and crying.
I made you breakfast for your anniversary.
Oh, not doing something is not a whore. God damn it. You're going to use sexist epithets, at least use them properly. Dick.
How'd you get dick from Jack?
It's very simple letter change.
Oh, the answer is you ask nicely.
Congrats, took you 8 years, you remember. Our marriage anniversary, our wedding anniversary is in June.
So yeah, we started talking
Today.
this day 8 years ago, and we actually got married June 9th, like 2.5, 3 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like our wedding anniversary is in my phone as an alarm, just to make sure I don't forget.
Also, it's 6/9. So you really only need to remember one number and then turn it over. 2.5 months later, wow, y'all don't mess around. Now the caveat, come on. The now you know the rest of the story. Do the Paul Harvey bit.
Oh, well, we actually met in high school years and years ago. I was dating a young lady, and I had graduated, and my girlfriend at the time was still in school, and I was trying to lose weight to join the military, and I was working with a neighbor who owned a little construction, a home maintenance construction. He was an asshole. But I would go and see my girlfriend when she got out of school because,
Long story short, I was friends with his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
In high school. Yeah, so I've actually known him since I was like 15. But we hadn't talked for a while. I did not marry a man I had known for 2 months. No, that's no.
But what's really funny is one day we sat down because we had the same overall group of friends. I moved to Boston. She went to Florida.
Right.
But we kept coming back to Cleveland because that's where our friends and family were. And we missed each other by days.
4 times.
Yeah. One time by a matter of hours. When we were, it was a friend's wedding. Mm-hmm. And I had left early because I was bored.
I was late.
And she was late.
Yeah.
Yep. And then...
and he changed his name. Because, I was one of those, I had at one point collected everyone I could find into my little Facebook corral, okay? So, crazy coincidences, right. And there's just so many of them. You know how sometimes stuff will just line up and you just have to look at it and go, wow, that's really something. And it was one of those, we could go on all day. But, I had... It kept suggesting his sister to me, though. And finally, I just thought to myself, well, I don't know her, really. I never really knew her, but I bet she knows her brother.
So she ended up living in Cleveland, a block away from the home that we lived in when I was in Cleveland.
Right, the house he had when I knew him when we were younger. That's what reminded me. That's why you were on my mind. That's right, because I've been walking around the block in my neighborhood. I was just like, oh, yeah. I wonder whatever happened to that guy. I should figure that out. Because I'm a curious, nosy weirdo like that, apparently.
And I had just given up on dating. I'm like, that's it. I don't get along with women here in Tennessee. Any woman here in my little area that I would find that I would actually want to seriously date is either already married or got the hell out of Dodge, which, respect. I was like, that's it. I'm going to be single. I'll start dating when my kids turn 18 or something. I had given up. And then this beautiful little redheaded lady sent me a message on Facebook.
There is a bonus to having bright red hair is people do tend to remember you. I haven't had it happen where I'll send someone a message out of the blue and they'll go, who are you? That never happens to me.
No, the picture was you, Corwin, and Cole, and I didn't recognize you. I had to go through your page, and it was you, and it was like a sleepover party or something like that. I'm like, No, it
Oh,
can't
yeah,
be.
right. I had some old stuff up.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. All that stuff is still up there. I haven't taken any of that stuff down. I don't use Facebook anymore. Because in the intervening decade, it has turned into something else. I'm not exactly sure what. I don't like it. I'm just trying to keep up with people, you know? Because most of the people I know live far away. Except for the guy down the hill using the bandsaw. He's right there. I'm so sorry. I don't own a BB gun or a tranquilizer gun or anything. But if I did, know that I would use it for you. This is Tennessee, so I could probably get away with it.
You are a white woman.
With a straw hat and everything. I mean, come on.
Community service at best.
I would be doing the community a service. I don't understand, like, they don't have a... He's standing in front of a shed.
He's repairing it. They've taken the top off. They're replacing the fascia.
Yeah.
They might be getting ready to replace the roof and...
They might be getting ready to be out there all afternoon.
Yep.
What time is it?
It is 12 o'clock.
We've only been doing this for an hour.
Oh my God, they're messaging me on the weekend.
Who? Your team?
Yes.
Wow. They don't pay you enough to
Well, that's
field messages on your off days.
That's exactly what they paid me for.
But
No. They're flying by wire. This is their last week. The least I can do is help them out as best I can. The problem is our equipment's language. Sick of fragile.
Thank you, Joe Pesci, our Lord and Savior of expletives. You know, because
we follow a work-at-home model, and then send people equipment so locked down they can't work at home, and then don't pay them because they can't be productive. It's the most asinine thing in the world. Like, just send them a regular computer, but we don't want them using it for personal reasons. Like, it doesn't matter. Just let a person browse YouTube. Let us work.
Right.
Oh my God.
Middle managers, am I right? Oh my God.
It's not even middle management. This decision had to come from somebody capable of making policy. They're like, hey, let's just send them this super locked down piece of equipment that they can only use to do what we want. And if you use your own personal equipment, you have to download this security software, so you can't uninstall it. You can't work the security equipment during work hours and then shut it off to use your own equipment during your time.
Oh my God.
I hate it. I hate capitalism. I hate people.
Well, I don't think most people are the problem. I think most people are stuck in the problem just like we are.
I think most people are the problem. Because everyone says that the average person is good. No, the average person is self-serving. And then you have crazy psychopaths who come out with this profit-first model or this hyper-productive model like Jeff Bezos. If most people were good, the middle managers would fucking roast Bezos over an open spit.
No, because middle managers are not most people. That's a specific sort of person. And they want to be Jeff Bezos. That's why they're there. Not everybody's like that, though. This is an argument that goes way back.
I don't think most people are evil, but I think they're self-serving. And in that urge to be self-serving, they let a lot of small evils and injustices slide because it's not their problem. It's not their fight. That's not what they get paid for. And all of these small things accumulate to pissing in bottles to make sure you get your Amazon order on time.
Do you think most people would be self-serving if they weren't constantly in survival mode?
point.
That's my thinking.
But again, what we're looking at now is just the accumulation of small injustices over the last, well, build up of history. The labor unions came in and did a bunch of stuff for workers' rights, and then that started to get eroded. 75, 83, around that area. Reagan did a lot to help fight the bust up unions.
Yeah, it was I understand it was the economic slump in the 1970s that really was the beginning of the end for the unions because...
It's 75.
Right, yeah. No, but specifically because, they were sitting there they were pretty corrupt by then as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sitting over there being fat cats, meanwhile everyone else is getting, their paychecks thin and everything, and inflation and whatever. So, it looks bad, If you take out all of the cultural and historical context, I don't understand. Why did an entire generation just be like, yeah, I know my dad knows stuff and fought a war and shit, but fuck him. I don't need to listen to anything he says at all ever. What the fuck? How did that become the cultural, mantra? I don't understand that. Fuck the voice of experience. They don't know shit. What happened? What?
I'm sorry, I gotta respond to these real quick.
That's okay. You can return the favor in a minute by holding down the fort while I run to the bathroom. I'll just take them both. So yeah, that's actually a big thing that I've been thinking about. Because I don't disagree that the average person is pretty self-serving, but why? Is that endemic to the human psyche? Is that really the foundational aspect of the human mind? I would argue that it's not. Because society, civilization, we're a social species, we need one another, not just to get anything done, but to be healthy. Physically and mentally. We hang together. That's just how we roll as a species. So, clearly if we were at our very bottom, just selfish and self-serving, individualistic creatures, we would not be what and where we are. So I think that the current moment, the current environment, the current, what do I want to say, mood, really, is indicative of something besides basic human nature. I really do. Something environmental, I would venture to say. Maybe something having to do with what I was talking about a minute ago about how we need one another to be healthy physically and mentally. And yet somehow I'm talking to y'all and you're, hundreds of miles away. In a couple of cases, thousands of miles away. And yet I keep seeing things about how no one has friends. Maybe an epidemic of loneliness. We do. We need people. Yeah. We need one another. All 8 billion of us or whatever it is.
That is legit. Half the reason I want to start a gaming channel is just to meet people who like to play video games. I watch 4 YouTube channels on a regular basis.
And 3 of them are gaming channels, I think.
Well, no. I watch Bo the Fifth Column. And Ryan. Shoot.
I'm gonna run in real quick. I have to visit the facilities. Nature is shouting. I'll be back.
Ryan Macbeth. I kept wanting to say Ryan Gosling. And I knew it wasn't him.
Did you just say Macbeth?
Yes, his name is Ryan Macbeth.
Fine fee! A pox on thee!
Yes. If you guys don't know Bo the Fifth Column, go watch him. He's just a great guy, and I think the best of everyone. Ryan Macbeth is a former infantryman turned software engineer who has a lot of his earlier stuff is about programming and internet security. A lot of his current stuff is war analysis about the incident in Ukraine. The two gaming channels I watch is Christopher Odd and Provis, and they're just not even like super fancy graphics. A lot of 8-bit gaming, turn-based gaming, and I keep them on while I'm doing my work, or just to have voices in the background half the time. But I want to do. I've been thinking about doing a video stream just to make friends and talk with people. Like my social interaction for the week is going to be a D&D game that I have with my 3 friends from high school, and we do that over Zoom. I don't have a whole lot of friends here, and I can totally see an epidemic of loneliness. Thank you, Mary. So yeah, unless you want me to tell you all about my theories of Babylon 5 and Star Trek, it's going to get really quiet. So this is something I was talking with. So something I started talking about with Sarah. Sarah was like, "Hey, what do you want to talk about on the channel tomorrow?" And I was like, "Well, normally she'll do a video on Friday, and I always have opinions to talk about on that, and I wanted to expand on it, but well, her boy got stung by a bee, and he stayed home all day, and she just didn't have a chance to film. But with so many states and countries, oh yeah, his sister had a bad reaction to bees, so we wanted to be really careful. And I love my son, but sometimes he will ham it up, and he's 5. We don't get to spend all the time in the world with him, but with a lot of states passing laws here and different kind. Oh, thank you, my love. And Canada doing what it's doing, and England and Ireland taking completely different approaches on the gender issue.
Thank goodness.
Right. We were talking if no one side is going to get everything they want. So what are the acceptable compromises? I was thinking negotiations, but thank you, my love. What would be acceptable compromises for the gender critical community in regards to gender identification laws? I mean, do we really want individuals like Buck Angel in the women's restroom? I'm of the theory, or not theory, of the mind, the idea that there is
no compromise, says Mary.
I think there becomes a certain event horizon when a person goes through.
Yes, you can come in the women's restroom.
See,
says Mary.
And that's, I don't know, which is fine, but I think that you're going to get to a point where you have people, in the attempt to minimize harm, we're going to have some, and we're not, and I don't mean people like that guy from Canada who was, I carries pads to give to
Why can't we just make more gender neutral spaces and use common sense?
I like that idea. I like the idea of a third restroom.
Most of my female friends would be extremely uncomfortable sharing a restroom with Buck Angel.
Right, you know, Buck Angel is a woman, but again, they have crossed that event horizon to where it would make more people uncomfortable with them in the right sex room. But I mean, something I don't think we got to talk about because we were wrapping up is I think that the law needs to distinguish between sex and gender.
Sure, make more female-only spaces. Go for it. Sir, you are wrong.
Which is fair. You know, but what's the old joke? There's a special place in hell for TERFs, and, you know, the trans women are going to access to it as soon as they get there.
Red Dead, yes. Philological Bell is agreeing with you.
Thank you. But yeah, like, I totally support, well, I won't say I totally support. How do I want to
What
phrase
I'd
this?
love most is an opt-in gender marker. Right, but nature already equipped us with ones that, like, I mean, yeah, no compromise. See, and for my 2 cents, Mary, I'm with you. If it were up to me, I'm not very egalitarian when it comes to this. I don't think it should be fucking legal to present yourself as some, like, to fool the rest of the world that you're something you're not. You know, you want to turn yourself into a giant lizard person or whatever? Fine, go for that. That sounds like fun. You want to get a million tattoos and piercings? Fine, go for it, whatever. I want to go somewhere away from all men. And I want you to have that place.
Yes. I think that women-only spaces should be allowed to be classified by sex and not by gender. You know, the whole idea that Lilith Fair got shut down because, you know, a bunch of...
Not to mention Mitch Fest.
What is Mitch Fest?
Like Lilith
McConnell?
Fair. No. Duh, doy, exactly. No, Mitch Fest is like Lilith Fair, but as a full weekend event, or at least it might have been longer than a weekend. It really was on its way out of existence just as I was becoming aware of it, so I don't know. It was the lesbian fucking music festival, dude.
Oh.
The trans
That's
woman
not
got
Lilith
that.
Fair?
No. But it's a, you know,
I'm sorry,
fucking 90s kids, man, I swear to God.
my parents were in the military. I spent most of my early childhood in West Germany.
I used to go to
so-
Mitch Fest in the 90s. It was a week. Okay, thank you.
And then when I was in high school, during my early teen years, I thought I was a Republican because, you know, I took the whole Christian thing to heart, and my parents were in the military, so, you know, I supported the military and a strong, which I'm not saying I don't support the military. The military is a giant social, has a bunch of social plans and networks that we could use here in the real world, and then, you know, it's the Republicans who keep turning down veteran housing. God.
Yeah, like, let's not even get started on how they treat the veterans, because that's, you want to talk about something that's ridiculous. So absurd, not funny. Both are bad. Yes, agreed.
Anyways, before I get on a soapbox about veterans' rights and
Republicans and Democrats. Yeah. I've never been able to vote for the party that wanted to tell me what to do with my uterus. Red Dad, exactly. Supporting the troops means caring for veterans and not wasting soldiers' lives in aggressive wars. Right, yeah, and they don't do any of that shit. They do the opposite of all of that. So...
the only two charities that I donated to on a regular basis was, of course, the Wounded Warrior Program, and then the USO had a special program where they would send soldiers with children phone cards so they could read stories to their children when they were deployed overseas. And I used to give money to that program.
That's adorable, and then it just makes me think, why are they not at home? Well, I mean, whatever. None of that shit makes any sense to me. And this is one of the ways I know that everyone in the world is not the same. Because if everybody in this world were like me, like, wars just wouldn't happen. Because I don't understand that shit. I don't. It's not that I don't understand the political machinations or the psychology behind it or all of that. It's like how Republicans will try to ban all drag shows because they're concerned about grooming. Or the next breath will justify children being married as young as 12.
Yup.
It's okay when they do it, yeah.
Well, child marriage has biblical roots, don't you know?
Wow, so does polygamy. But that's illegal. So, what? Oh, yeah. And we're supposed to have separation of church and state anyway, and god damn this thing. Did you see that?
I did not.
This bitch is dying on me already.
Oh,
I unplugged it when I got out of bed at 10 o'clock.
I'm sorry. I'm getting you a new phone, I swear.
Bill Maher is peaking, someone just said in a message board that I subscribe to. If that is true, that is going to be hilarious. I may end up commenting on it just because he always gets me a lot of views and is really funny. I mean, he's not funny, but making fun of him is funny to me.
You know who I used to watch all the time, and I thought he was going to be a lot more liberal when he got older? Dennis Miller.
Yeah, no, a lot of those comedians from back in the day really just kind of went both ways, didn't they?
It's
weird.
Dennis,
like fucking Joe Rogan was another one, honestly.
Dennis Miller had an entire album of rants, like his little monologues, and I memorized them all.
People can hear you, right?
Well, that's the idea. Now, to be fair, I also memorized all of Robin Williams' stand-up, too. Because I'm not really funny, but I can quote funny people.
I wager those have aged better. Mary's listening. Witness!
But anyways, Dennis Miller was from what I remember, was fairly liberal back in the day. And he's really not anymore. He's also kind of faded out from the whole comedy scene. Last thing I heard, he was doing Friday night football commentary and had his own podcast, which,
wow, I'm
just not going to listen to Dennis Miller talking to a microphone while he sits in his underwear. I mean, respect that he can do that for a living. I'm jealous. But
that's what you do. You have the same job as Dennis Miller.
Yay! I'm just a totally different page.
Grandma, but I really love cups, and that's a really pretty specimen, Rad Dad.
Oh, thank you. My aunt bought me this one. Little tin cups.
Yep, they're not little. They hold 2 mugs worth of coffee. Fully 2 regular mugs worth. Like 8 ounces of coffee will fit in one of these bitches.
And it's delicious.
Your aunt has good taste. Yes, she does, actually. She does.
She's amazing. I love my aunt.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know her that well, but I can definitely say she has good taste. Hell yeah.
Okay, we were talking about compromise, and I'm talking about Dennis Miller.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
You were right. Shiny. You were asking them about compromise, and Mary was saying no compromise.
And which I can respect. But a no compromise mentality just finds us fighting the same the battle with no ground. We need to move past it. I like the idea of the third option, gender neutral bathrooms, men spaces, women spaces.
Mary says no.
Yeah.
See, here's the issue that I see with that.
Okay.
And I think part of the reason that there is no compromise from some people, but people aren't gender neutral. But
that's again we're taking sex and gender to mean the same thing, and they don't anymore. The society is recognizing that gender is how we express ourselves, while sex is the.
You want family bathrooms, fine.
Essentially.
Right, now,
yes, ma'am.
Patronize me. I was making a point.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Media is grooming you. Ooh. Probably. That is really a big part of its job, isn't it? Which is that the reason there's no compromise from a lot of us is that there is no compromise from a lot of them. Okay, they don't want to use a third. They don't want it. They won't use it.
Right. And my idea of, well, you don't get that. I am for protecting women-only spaces, whether it's bathrooms, shelters, sports. These things were separated by sex.
Okay, well, maybe we should focus on that angle of it then. Focus on the for protecting women's spaces, and then what are the trans women going to do? I don't know. Maybe that's their problem.
Well, but again, I want to, with the idea of minimizing harm and not othering people. I don't want to turn. No, I don't think trans and gay are in the same minority, but they
Protecting
are.
women's spaces has no compromise of letting men in. Right.
Right, and I don't want to let men into women's spaces, no matter how.
Are trans women men?
No, trans women aren't men. No.
Trans and gay are different.
Words.
If you're not willing to compromise at all, how do you expect the trans activists to? Right, so then you just end up entrenched. But see,
right.
From a female perspective, we cannot compromise on certain things because we don't have a choice to begin with. Okay, then what's the compromise you want? It's just going to be a never-ending cultural war until one side legislates the other out of existence. But you can't legislate women out of existence. You can't do that.
England's trying.
Right.
The whole, birthing.
There's no compromise on not having men in women's spaces. Right. So, are trans women men?
Yes.
All right, then. No trans women in women's spaces. You heard it here first. You don't have to compromise on everything, but something like adding gender-neutral public facilities would hurt nobody, which I fully support.
Yes.
And just anyway, frankly.
And what is it? To use an example, there was the New York State Marathon that had a women's, a men's, and a gender-neutral category, but a trans woman can still compete in the women's section, took the best time. I don't think that should be allowed.
Why do you think women have single-sex spaces in the first place?
Well, because they had to fight for it. Women didn't even have a space until, the 40s? The 30s?
Why? But why is it necessary?
Because men are horrible.
That's why we can't have them in there.
Right, and I'm not saying that you should have them in there.
Right.
But
that's why I'm saying, love having a man explain this. I know.
I'm not trying to explain. I'm not trying to mansplain. I'm just...
I don't see how having an additional space affects you. As a parent, you can just use the women's only space. As a parent, actually, I support having the third option because I have sons. When you have a 12-year-old son who's as tall as you, what do? You take him in the family bathroom. Yes, right. Whatever you want to call it. Sometimes as a single person in there by myself, I use it simply because I just don't feel like getting half naked in a room with a bunch of other people. Yes, I agree. Those already exist. Correct. A lot of places they do. So what are we talking about, I guess, is the question. So what are we arguing about? Right? That's a good question. I guess we would be arguing because they want to come into the women's room, right? They don't, at least not here. Really? In Ireland, they don't. Huh.
Well,
you said you're in Belfast, right?
Well, what I was thinking is a lot of the gender neutral or family bathrooms is a single toilet in a large room because it's the idea of you need to put in the stroller, you need to have room.
I would prefer women with sons have their own separate bathrooms from women only. Right. So you don't want my 12-year-old son in the women's room, and that's what I'm saying. That's why the family bathroom is aces.
What I would like to see is the family, maybe a gender-neutral bathroom with more stalls. You can't just have the one.
Right.
Right.
But then you run into I don't want your 4-year-old son in the women's room. Aside from 12-year-olds can use the men's room by himself. Not necessarily, and be safe, he can't. Because they have to worry about the same crap we do. Boys get victimized at least as much, I think. In that situation, especially.
I don't know. I see. I'm remembering a time that when my daughter was 6, we were out somewhere and she went into the ladies' room and then drops. Oh God, what happened? I don't know.
Needed help somehow.
She needed help. Something happened, and her mother wasn't there. But, I waited until it was just her in there. But, that's still her saying, hey, Dad, I need help. Give me a second, honey. Wait a minute till everybody's out. And then I went in there. But, the next lady who walked in while I'm trying to help my daughter was very taken back.
Why don't you just go find someone? Like an employee of wherever you were at.
To help my daughter in the bathroom?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It did not occur to me. It was very much I'm her dad, and she needs my help.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That feels like a very dudely thought process, doesn't it? Rad Dad, I hear you on that. In my uni, there's a single gender-neutral stall in a bathroom, which is grand. But with more people identifying as trans these days, we're going to need more. Laughing my ass off. Well, okay, but see, what I was going to say is that then, as, a lot of times, like I say, you'll go in there because you want extra privacy. So adding more stalls and inviting everyone to come in completely ruins that. See? So, yeah, these multi-use rooms, if you change them, then their usage, shifts as well.
Mm-hmm.
If the bathroom doesn't look safe, I bring my 12-year-old in with me into the women's, but I stay with him. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. No, yeah.
That's also to say that, like, when she was younger, I took her into the men's room. And, what's the question that...
There are men in those bathrooms that also prey on little boys. That's right. Yeah. We're going to have to go inside and plug this bitch in. Does he sit or stand? We're going to have to go plug it in.
No.
Yeah. We're going to have to go in the house. And probably lose sound again because, God hates me.
Where's your charger at?
In the house. Next to the pillow. Where are you going?
I was going to pick up this power cord over here.
It's dead, honey. That thing it's boy standing. He stands in a stall, LOL. Right. Man, I got some thoughts on that whole standing thing. I don't know about you guys, but I always pee lying down. So he's peeing on the seat. I have seen more wet seats in the women's room than you can shake a stick at. He was taught better. They can't always aim better, though. This is my problem. Well, see, I really think it's women not wanting to sit on the seat. Women do it too, I know, yeah. He is better. Clean that seat, LOL. Right. See, and this is what I am saying. I refuse to just reject the idea of men as human. Right, they can't help the aim. Right, so, why don't you just sit the fuck down? Whoa, there's a fucking concept. Whatever. There's my 2 cents. If you can't aim it properly, just sit the fuck down. That's why we sit down, right? Oh, gosh, no, I hit something else. Military men and men who are in prison sit down. It's literally just more sanitary. That's it. I'm sorry if it is somehow emasculating. It questions your manhood somehow because you don't get to dribble all over the goddamn toilet bowl. And Montessori method teaches boys to sit. He lives with women. He knows by now. I left pee on his seat once and he learned his lesson. Oh my God. Sometimes I just wonder if I am not willing to go to the lengths necessary in this life. Oh my God, right? Oh my God. I'm just not cutthroat enough. I'm not ruthless enough, I think. Oh my God. He was so grossed out. Yeah, God. Right. Sometimes you really have to make them feel negatively somehow, so that they will remember. You know, making your kid unhappy on purpose feels really strange, but like now you know, right? Right.
There you go, lover.
Wow. Look at that.
I hope I got the right one.
Yeah. It sure looks like it. Thank
I'm gonna
you.
use some of these over there.
Right.
It's not a long extension cord.
Oh, well, this is plenty. We're not going to be able to have it, like, up the way it's been, though. So that's extra fun. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I have a tech degree. And for some reason, technology does not want to work for me. I don't know why. I don't know what its problem is, but it just hates me. For reasons I do not know. But, that should do it. Yay. We're charging now. All right. Thank you. That did it.
Good.
Yeah. So now we're in business again. Sitting in the midday sun. Ah. You just can't have everything, I guess, huh? Just can't have everything.
We need to start doing yoga. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Yes, you are.
Anyway, where were we? We got a really good compromise debate going there for a minute.
Right.
No compromise versus a third neutral facility versus the way people actually use those third facilities. Because I think that that's really broad. That's the sense I'm getting, that those that third room, the use of it is pretty broad, and lots of people use it in lots of different ways. Women and children facilitate. Yeah.
It's your fifth child. Yeah. It's the ginger child. Oh.
No, the ginger child is in the living room. I've all met him. Women facilities. Women and children's facilities. Yeah. And that's really the issue.
And it's really hard to say, it's hard to draw a compromise, or not a compromise, a parallel, a point of
Comparison?
Comparison, thank you. I had to marry her because she speaks the same language as I do. In Japanese.
I am fluent in several dialects of English.
But, having self-identification with sex or gender is, I think, going to open a huge floodgate for, like, the furries. And, which, no hate on the furries.
That's why they should have differentiated between sex and gender. Louis C.K. had a bit about being with his daughters in the airport, needing to use the bathroom, and having to bring his little girls into the men's room.
What's that? I'm not wearing my glasses. I can't read anything.
I'm just trying to figure out how closely she's trying to compare you to Louis C.K. and exactly how offended I should be.
Whatever. Louis C.K.'s hilarious. He just,
Right.
was also a predator. If you overlook that whole thing.
I have much problems with furries. I have no problems with furries as long as they are over there.
Right, yeah. Furries generally don't drag me into the room they're doing the furry stuff in.
Yeah, that tends to know you're sorry. No, I know. You didn't mean to directly. I know. I'm playing around. We're all friends here. It's all in good fun. But now yeah, I think the furry thing falls under the category of you have a good time with that. Leave me out of it. You know,
Right.
as long as consenting adults and whatever, they can wear whatever the fuck costumes they want.
Right.
I just mean I understand from hearing from a man how weird it is to have little girls in the men's room. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's a story she's heard before.
Right. You know,
Furries are predators. Well, I have a problem with predators.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I
know too
can't
many
say
furries.
because I stay away from them. I have heard this, but you know the same can be said of Catholic priests, right? And they get to go wherever they want, which I don't necessarily support that, but I'm just saying. I think predators are the problem.
Yeah.
It is weird, but in unique cases, such a dad needs to watch his kid. Why not both? Yeah, no, why not both? I guess that's what I'm saying. We need to be worried about who is a predator in general and not worry so much about whatever other labels or credentials they may carry. Most predators are men. Yep.
And, you know, growing up, I was always taught that assume everyone is the bad guy until you know they're not.
You never know who has predation tendencies. You know, sometimes I don't think they even know. Truly. Either until they find themselves in a certain situation, or they simply don't realize that some of the thoughts they're thinking are, you know, not cool. You were saying, growing up, you were taught. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Not all furries are males. I know at least one who's female. Okay.
Yeah, most of the furries I know are women, actually. But anyways, you know, like, when I grew up, it was always watch out. Again,
Furries are predators and their prey. Well, so like humanity then. You don't know who the bad guys were.
right. Everybody has the potential to be the bad guy. You know, it was... And that's something I've taken to, you know, when I raise my own kids, you know, when they go in the restroom, I don't walk away from them because you never know who might go in there next. So, you know, I don't know. It's
Right, no, better safe than sorry.
Exactly. And
when it comes to my kids, definitely, absolutely, 100% better safe than sorry. Yeah.
Right. And this is the thing that I don't understand about it is everybody has the potential to be the predator, but and again, it's like the conversation I had with that trans woman on Twitter. They wanted access to the women's restroom. I'm like, well, why do you want access to the women's restroom? I don't feel safe in the men's restroom. Like, so you identify that men are the problem. Like, we identified this. So instead of you going into the women's restroom, why don't we just teach men not to be dicks? And then you won't feel unsafe in the men's restroom, and you can go in. So, like, when I heard about...
Yeah. Rad Dad gets it. Hola, chica feminista mucho besos. I don't know if you saw it earlier. Sorry, earlier I had to deal with my son pass. Hey, you got stuff to do. It's a Saturday afternoon, I understand. Welcome back.
Like, when I originally heard about the whole non-binary, I loved the concept of non-binary because with the whole story that we talked about before where I like to cook. I like to clean. I like to do a lot of things that, you know, the guys who we grew up with in the Army said were, you know, girl things. And like, I like D&D, so I will draw caricatures and try to do art. And that was always, you know, girly. And, you know, my wife likes to do stuff like dig giant roots out of the
You
ground.
are a human. Right.
Right. So...
Doesn't make you less of a man.
Right. And you try to talk to people, especially here in the South, about toxic masculinity.
Everyone should be more non-binary, Kathleen. Stop. Gender stereotypes are wrong. Stop.
Right. Thank you. And my biggest problem is that the non-binary and the trans people enforce the gender ideology. They're like, oh, you like to cook? You must be a girl.
VF plays D&D with mostly men. Non-binary equals non-conforming. Right, yeah, which is most people, unless you try hard to conform, which...
But like that's what it should be. Is non-binary, should be non-conforming. But they're like, well, I'm a guy who likes Barbies, the color pink, and My Little Pony. I'm non-binary. No, dude, you're just a guy with who likes My Little Pony.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah, right. Regressive and gender stereotyping. See, and this is what I'm saying. If you would actually separate sex from gender, and actually do that, there's no questioning that a man is a man. Exactly. However, maybe he wants to, have an identity where he can tell the world in a shorthand, heuristic kind of way that he's not a butch guy and he's not worried about that. Maybe that could be a thing. I see them as the same. Sex equals gender, gender equals sex. Gender is created to oppress women. There's two different comments. Thank you very much. That was fabulous. Two very different opinions there. Because, sorry, hold that thought. I think a lot of us do see them as synonymous. They were used as synonymous all my life until a few years ago. But conceptually, having them linked is how you get self-ID laws where a dude can just be like, yeah, whatever, I'm a woman now, and waltz into the women's room and nobody can stop him. Because gender is sex, gender is sex, but it's not. Your identity isn't your biology. It just, we love to think that those are two separate things and we're not limited by our biology, right? Isn't that the whole idea of, fucking, gosh, like all of your whole identity is based on that idea. I'm sputtering, but you see where I'm going.
But even before the concept of gender, men were, for lack of a better word, oppressing women. There, on NPR a couple years ago, there was a report. Archaeologists had found a bunch of skeletal remains, and they had dated back to
that's obviously a stereotype. The color thing is such bullshit.
To an agricultural age where wheat was just being cultivated, and they were doing tests on the skeletal remains, and the women had a much higher diet of millet, and the men had a much higher diet of wheat. And millet was a heavier, denser, less nutritious bread. So even all the way back then, that they were being separated by
sex.
By sex.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until, a couple centuries after that it was, sex and poor people. So the poor people were getting lots of millet, but even the lower class men had more wheat in their diet than the women. So women were getting millet.
There were some very interesting comments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I let you finish. Because that was good. That's what they meant when they said gender, because sex, well, it was linguistically problematic, right?
Did RBJ do that?
Yeah. Ruth Bader Ginsburg actually is the one who introduced the whole gender in place of sex concept into legal language in the 1970s when she was arguing before the Supreme Court. I wrote a blog post about that a while back when everybody was, kissing her ass right after she died. They proved this in the first American female bones. Fuck, was it her? Yes, it was. It was Ruth Bader Ginsburg, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants to worship her, and I'm not saying she was a bad person.
No, but she opened up a can of worms and then ignored it.
Not only that, but she had the opportunity to retire during Obama's second term, and they asked her to.
Right, and let him appoint somebody, and she wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, that looked more than a little self-serving, didn't it? Can't make that joke with gender. Wait, what? What joke? I don't get it. I'm missing something. No. You can sometimes observe gender roles in the skeletons. At the beginning of farming, female skeletons have much more wear on their knees, suggesting they were grinding the grain. Or something. When someone asks sex, if you are male or female. Oh, right, yeah. That's true. You can't say yes, please, to gender. That's true. I don't blame her at all. No, see, I'm not saying that I blame her. That's not really what, You want to talk about something that you could not possibly have known the ramifications of at the time? I mean, really, like, the argument of hers that I read about this was from like 1975, so. Wouldn't trust him. Who? Wouldn't trust whom? So, you know, and she was, I would have died before allowing him to push trans faster. Oh, Obama. Oh, I see. Yeah, she didn't, yeah. I mean, yeah, and we didn't know that Trump was going to be next. Like, who the fuck would have predicted that? Nobody. Nobody. Jinx, buy me a Coke. But yeah, I don't think that she could have possibly known the ramifications when she made that linguistic argument in like 1975. She was just trying. The Simpsons did it. The Simpsons have done everything at this point. Jinx is my cat's name. That's a great name for a cat. You didn't say a Coke. All right. Beer? No. But so she was just trying to get like the old men of the court to stop sniggering at them while they were arguing for women's rights. So, you know, whose fault is that really? Oh, just Coke. You can't drink Coke anymore? It's bad for you anyway.
I don't know. As long as the mirror's fine, as long as the mirror's clean, Coke is fine.
I haven't bought one for years. They are not missing your business, you know? Shit, you know Dasani is also Coke, right? I don't drink soda either. Except the odd, you know, sip here and there.
I got fridge water and coffee. With a lot of grains in it.
Really? Again? Oh, that's not so bad.
No. It's that...
Coke is gross.
Yeah. That's right. It's all about Mr. Pibb.
Man, I don't... What is... here is a glass of steaming, bubbling, brown shit. Suck it down. What? Coffee and water. That's all I drink. Also the soda. Right.
No, this is the South. We drink sweet tea here.
Oh.
God, if I could cut out the sweet tea, I'd be...
It doesn't even taste like tea.
It tastes like blackberry because that's what I have Sonic add to it.
Well, right. Coffee and cream. Yes. That's my weakness. Oh, my God.
I used to drink it...
Sugar-free there.
I used to drink it...
Oh, my God. She's, like, actually mega keto.
Oh, thank you. I love keto. Oh, God, I wish I could do it more. Aww.
Dogs chasing a cat. The more classic scene there is. The only sugar I eat is from onions and peppers. Sugar is so bad for you. Someone drinks a lot more alcohol than they are admitting. Who's that then?
Me.
Am I missing something? You know, alcohol is full of sugar. Sugar is like crack.
That's not true. I cannot make $500 a day selling sugar out of the street corner.
Because you can buy it for $1 a pound at the grocery store, which is worse.
Yeah.
And
I can't make sugar with baking soda.
Your joke's getting a good laugh there. Can't make sugar with baking soda. Yeah, you can. It's called a cake. Don't put baking soda in your cake. Don't do that. It's not a good idea. That'll taste like shit. But I was thinking cookies.
What are you missing, honey?
My lighter. Probably my sweater pocket.
You put it right here in your lap, buddy.
Oh. Why are you looking at my lap?
I wasn't. It was just in the way.
Of the chair? Like...
See what I have to deal with?
Like
I can't just be sweet to you.
Like, not every joke lands, though. Am I right? Come on. Random sugar fact. Archaeologists can tell from a skeleton whether they're from the U.S. because of the ice tips from high fructose corn syrup.
Sweet.
That's pretty healthy, Mary. Chicana Feminista, are you following Yogurtgate? It's still ongoing? Merciful heaven.
speaking about high sugar content, I was looking at moving overseas to like France or Germany or Spain when I get ready to retire,
Stick to the natural kind.
and
Agreed.
a lot of expats are talking about just how much weight they lost. Like they did nothing different with their diet. They even eat out more, but they lose a bunch of weight when they leave the states.
X is going to release her reaction to the video, but I am not in those communities often. Sorry, I am listening to you.
Just because the Food and Drug Administration of those countries let so much less. They use so much less sugar.
X has a reaction to everything somehow. She's so prolific, it just boggles my mind. And I'm not even being facetious. Let's email about this. Oh my god, there's an email list and I'm not a part of it. And I shouldn't be because I never read my emails. More power to you, ladies. X needs her own romance.
Is it Existentia?
X is Atlantic, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's
Wait,
your
isn't that a
email
guy?
again, Mary? No.
So which one?
X Atlantic is the one with the wigs.
Oh, okay.
Which is a great bit. I don't know if she still does that. God damn, I just don't watch this stuff anywhere near as much as I like. Really, huh. I don't know, I just can't be angry all the time. I was looking for it the other day. I just cannot be angry all the time anymore. I don't know. It was like 5 or 6 solid years of my life, y'all.
Was it Jessie Gender who did the whole
I was a speech therapist, and she currently is one.
Isn't Jessie Gender the one that responds to all the time?
Who does? Oh, are women like maybe overreacting to romance? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's more along the lines of because like he's engaged, So it's more the betrayal aspect of it, I think, than the romance aspect of it, right?
Romance and betrayal, 2 sides of the same coin.
I hope not.
Well, we're married. We don't have romance anymore. That's done.
I think that's what we were doing.
It's before the marriage.
No, right now. Like those women that dress sexy and set up their cams at the gym to catch dudes looking at them. He's engaged, and she said she was... Why does it fade like that? That's dumb. Why is it he's engaged and said she is a rad femme separatist? Uh-oh.
What's a rad femme separatist? Is that the women who don't want to be around men no matter what? Oh, that's sad.
Right, well, but so she shouldn't be having an affair with an engaged boy or a boy of any sort. Then, see, that would be what you call hypocrisy.
What's the trope? All lesbians are just waiting for the right.
Well, if it is who I think it is, there's quite a bit of physical space separating the two of them, so that wasn't it.
Was it like a physical thing or an emotional thing?
We've already said it was an emotional thing. Maybe she was open to love. But that's a great thing, and it's kind of tragic that would be a bad thing in any way. People in relationships shouldn't be hitting on others. Agreed. Online only emotional affair. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, see, so.
I am not as concerned.
Right, I mean, so that makes it less the heat of the moment, You really can't blame anything but yourself at that point. She knew he was engaged, and she admitted she likes being the other one. Oh, my God.
Oh, I hate that.
She admitted that? What? Yeah, that's... No one likes that. In her diary entry. Wait a minute. How do you... Forgive me, but if it's like public, it's no way a diary. Did you see it? In the pink pen. Diary, online diary, but drama queens. Yeah, oh my God. No, like some twisted people do enjoy being the third wheel in that way. I have encountered that before. I'm not one of them, you know. She posted pictures of her own diary online. Like she wrote it on paper and then took pictures of it and put. And Exlansic reposted it. I mean, okay. Fair enough on the journalistic reporting there. You know, if the information has already been made available, you know, you just reporting it, I feel like it's just, you know, if that's what you do, then that's what you do. Wow, I try to be private, but it's impossible. It's been impossible lately. Why fuck, I do not look in the right places. More like taken people be acting like they are single. Which is a problem. If you want to be single, there's a really simple way to accomplish that. Right, honey?
It's not simple, and it costs you half.
Well, they're not married yet. All he has to do is break up with her. Trying to suck you up into their drama. Not me. I'm so far removed from all of that, they would have to, you know, buy 1,000 Hoovers. Right, single means available. Exactly. So if you want to be single and available, there's a really simple way to accomplish
single
that.
Single does not mean available. It just means not taken. You could be single and off the market.
Okay, that's true. Married, but married does mean taken.
True.
5-year engagement, and he admitted he cheated before, which I'm suddenly feeling that, what's that strange feeling where you're like, why am I talking about this? You know, like they were both like extramarital affairs. Yeah, wow. I will say, as someone who's done both, a long engagement and a marriage are not the same thing. Single and off the market. See there. Yeah. People don't take marriage seriously. Well, some people don't. My mom said 4 of them. So, yeah, arguably. Some people don't take marriage seriously. Some people do. Trifling taken people lie all the time. Yes. Yes, cheater's gonna cheat, I guess is the upshot of that. And wow, he's got a record, I guess. So, you know.
He's got a record?
No, of cheating.
Oh.
Poor VF. Like, I think we've all been there, or a lot of us have been there, right? They want their cake and to eat it too. Right, and I think that it just shows a basic level of immaturity, regardless of how old he is or anyone is. So Lisa loved him. Never again for me.
Loved or left?
I've been single for 6 years. Congratulations. Loved. How did I know it was Lisa? People do fall in love. Oh, we didn't say her name yet. No, it's all right. I had figured it out. Yeah, because there's just, I don't know, you get a vibe from people, and there's just really only one person I can see. No matter how much she needs to continue to cyber stalk me. She's a kook, that one. I wasn't the one to say it. No, I did, but I was reading. But, you know, let's just not say anything that isn't a fact. Go into chats she thinks are too white and not for her. Oh, yes. Yogurt gate. Yeah, I love that. I can't.
I'm sorry. You're just not allowed to go chase the kitty.
Can we scoot that way?
You can scoot whichever way you want, right?
Yeah, because the sun is just... Can't see a damn thing.
You need to get your SPF 500?
No. That's what the shade is for. But man, the sun down here in the south is something else, I'll tell you what. Ooh. You were kind of, hang on. There you go.
you're off camera.
Momentarily, my love, but momentarily.
Hey, that's all I need is a moment.
Oh my god. Again, you know we can hear you.
Yeah. If they can't laugh with you, they can laugh at me.
I suppose. What do you call that? Consolation prize?
That's right.
Alright, let's see if that is any better. Yeah, look at that. There's stuff to see now.
If you say so. It's all glare.
Well, for us. But on the screen,
Oh.
there's actually something to see. Come this way just a little bit. Because, I mean, your elbow is in the camera, and I know you don't want to be on the show, but you said you wanted to be on the show, so.
Right. Well, as I was telling them earlier, normally you do a video on Friday that I always have an opinion or two, and we talk about it. And I had hoped to, go into depth about the video that you did on Friday.
So what's new here, Rad Mom? Well, for one thing, the glare is. I emailed you the link to the YouTube video for the Chicana feminists. All right. What's new is Casey is so boring. Yeah, no, he is. I always appreciated his pedantic approach, but that's me because I'm a nerd and I appreciate other nerds. That's mainly that. Monotone. Yeah, well, again, that's a nerd for you, and most nerds are not, balls of energy like I am. Maybe I am too sometimes. Well, right, I mean, that's the other thing is you have to kind of give people, a little bit of leeway with their presentation on the YouTube because we're not all trained television presenters. Next time, tell me not to show up then. Wait, what? Delivery matters not. The message does. Well, see, the delivery does matter because, quite frankly, sometimes I find myself zoning out and missing the message. Oh. What's new here? Is that I'm working on the book, and let's see. I was going to do a video yesterday, and then I didn't do it because the boy was stung by a bee on Wednesday after school and was home all day Thursday. So that was some drama, and I apologize for not doing that. We have a good song picked out. Mansplaining through it.
Yeah, I told him that Owen raised a big fuss about being stung by the bee, and he ended up staying home. He was obviously okay, but again, he's 5, and there's only so much time we get to really pamper him and hang out with him.
Right, and he's gonna be in the 1st grade next year, which I kind of think of as real school. Should have done a video on the whole VF thing, but it's not my style. I'd rather turf.
What's VF?
I don't know. Maybe there's another
Thing.
bit of drama that's boiled over between some of these fine ladies. In that case, that makes me sad. When she knows better. Wait, is VF mad at me? Asks Mary. She loves to lie, says VF. I'm not lying, says Mary. I don't think... I don't... It's all over. No drama. Good. No drama. Good. Because we don't... Not you, says VF. Good. Because... Drama queen.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of misunderstanding.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
all that was. We have some misunderstandings here sometimes, but really I think it's all in good fun, really. We're good. We're friends here, We have a good crowd.
And I would like to say that I've seen a little bit, hanging out with you and watching some of the channels you've watched, that some of the GC group has kind of turned on other GC when people's opinions change. Who's that one lady who the dark-haired lesbian who had, I can't remember her name, who kind of started the whole trans thing and then came out against it. She left the left, remember?
Ariel Scarcella?
Yeah!
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about somebody in our group.
No, I don't know your friends well enough. But, she had came out with a different set of opinions and a lot of the
Magdalene Burns? No, she never changed her opinion. She was right or die till the end.
Maggie. I made a D&D character for her.
That's a true honor. No joke. That's an honor. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Well, I haven't started the game yet, but
Oh.
the character's there.
Mag was great. Aw, Rad Dad.
Mm. Yeah. But anyways, but what I was saying is,
You can talk while I smoke.
I know I'm trying to formulate my sentence properly.
We all honor Mag. Yes.
One of the reasons the left is so does not have the traction that the right does is the right wants to uphold the status quo. And the further right you go, they want to kind of go regressive, which is easy because the past is established. We know how to go backwards. They can hold the line and prevent change. The left is a conglomerate of ideas. There's there's a bunch of small groups,
They're
kind
less
of
unified.
Right. They want movement, but they don't know.
Ariel does believe in tree trans. Yeah.
It's a lot because there's no unified direction. There's a lot of infighting, and I don't think the gender critical community can afford that infighting because we're already holding such a, I don't want to say a niche market, but we are fighting to gain acceptance in the political crowd. The social language is already labeled against us. So, we can't tear each other down. We have to be able to move forward together.
I'm going to make a point of order here and differentiate between leftists and Democrats. Democrats are fairly centrist as far as, politics go. Infighting is mostly between the feminists. That's why the Matt Walshes continue to laugh at us. Yeah. And as far as being a leftist, that's about being egalitarian. That's about believing in social programs. And, personally, I very strongly feel that the role of the government is to, maintain the infrastructure and stuff like that for the population's benefit, Okay, rights wants women to be public property, lefts wants private property and public versus public property. Yeah, that still stands. Yeah, that still stands. Yeah. I mean, really, if the hippies taught us anything, right? Agree. Government should take care of its people. That's what it's for. That should be
right.
What it is for. That should be what the tax money is for. Right? Definitely agree. Most leftists are quite impractical. Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are quite impractical.
I think the left is impractical because we know where we want to be. We want to be Star Trek. We want to have this unified social conglomerate.
They're fantastical.
Right.
It's the underpants gnome syndrome, right? Or they steal the underpants, and then step 3 is profit, and step 2 is just this big question mark.
Right. We know where we are, and we know where we want to end up, and we don't know what the best way to get there is.
Which, to be fair, that's just kind of innovation in a nutshell, really.
Well, and then the problem is the United States is largely an oligarch, and they don't, large businesses and the profit motivator would be gone from a world like Star Trek. That's why Roddenberry, he cheated. He had a World War III that leveled the Earth and, societies in general, and we rebuilt back from that core group. That war destroyed everything,
right.
Wiping the slate clean. He never had this thing that, they passed legislation and decided to...
I told you that I have friends in Russia. Oh my God, they can get a lot of electronic drafts in the mail. They cannot speak out against the government. It could be so much worse here.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Well, that's why we need to talk about it now, though, so that it never becomes that way.
Well, and there's also a reason that the First Amendment, or the freedom of speech, is the First Amendment.
And press and assembly. I mean, not in the mail, all electronic. Right, yeah, it will get worse fast. It already has in some ways.
Well, you need to get your bag.
No, it's fine.
Honey, I'm right
I
here.
don't want the whole bag. I just want nothing out of it.
I realize I've always been a centrist. Voting Democrat now, I doubt there will ever be another Democrat Party again.
No, the Democrat Party is going to do great because the Democrats are going to lose a couple of the states that are buying heavily into the Trumpism, but largely, I feel that on a national level, the Democrats are going to do well. I think they're going to make up ground in 2024.
Yep.
Is that what's coming up next?
Yep.
So, I mean, Trump's going to court in New York. Georgia's moving forward.
Can you explain why people think that him going to court is going to help him run for president? What the Oh, God, another 4 years of Joe Biden?
No, I
He's
hope
not
not.
going to live that long. Like, what the, there's no way.
No, I'm hoping Bernie Sanders takes it.
But he's...
Right. I either way, we have...
Hope he passes on. LOL, right?
I mean,
Marianne Williamson?
I don't know. I hear AOC might take a run at it.
Okay. Is she old enough?
Yeah.
You have to be 35, right?
Good point. She was 27 when she got elected into Congress, wasn't she?
I don't know. Like, I'm not even trying to be like, she's just such a kid. I'm actually legitimately asking you.
She was wicked young.
She is the trans lobby. Oh, that's no good.
Well, you know how I feel about it. I would rather have the trans lobby in charge than have the Republicans in charge and legislate women into property.
Be property or be non-existent? What a choice.
Well, because if conservatives get in charge, they're going to roll back everything.
She is 33 right now. Okay, I'm pretty sure you have to be minimum of 35 to run for president. So that she just doesn't qualify based on that, unfortunately. We need a women's party. Yes, here. There used to be one. I should probably look into what happened with that. I will run if there is a women's party. Sweet. Why don't you just start one? Shit. If we have a candidate, that's all you really need, right? My family's in politics already. It's not hard. It looks hard to me, but if you know what to do, I mean, shit. Yeah. You got my vote. Do it. That would be fantastic. I mean,
yeah, 35.
You said you're in California, right? Yeah, you have to be minimum of 35 to run for president, so she doesn't qualify.
And to be a resident of the United States for 14 years. So you can't have lived overseas and then come back and run for president.
In Cali. A small miracle, but I am thinking about it seriously. Oh my gosh!
Dude, so many people from California are moving to Tennessee. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, I've heard that. But so, fundraising, baby! Where do we send $5 to? And we moved over here, and so of course the clouds have moved over the sun, and now it's not an issue.
It will be soon. Look, you can see the blue line over there. Looks like 2024. But
this guy, am I right? Take my husband, please. Where'd everybody go?
But no, that does put us back on the whole.
Yuck.
Yeah, she tastes like cigarettes.
Breeders. Well, I mean, I feel like, yeah. Whatevs. Please.
No, I was trying to think about what I was saying before, and if we had moved on from that part of the conversation about compromise and,
Oh, yeah.
But, again,
I don't know that we're going to settle it today.
Oh, no. God, no. If we could settle it today.
I'm heterosexual too, it's okay. I'm so sorry.
But, what we had talked about this, unless they put an older Democrat into office, their whoever is in is probably going to be trans friendly. And so, we have to look at, we're either going to have
platform is.
Right.
So,
right. Their whole general platform is.
By default, they will be.
Right. So we're going to have to choose between conservative Republican who will try to.
Are you about to have a special guest?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Who's going to, enforce, let's say traditional values, as opposed to.
Some of my best friends are in the straight lifestyle.
or we're going to have somebody who is going to push, not push, but support the transition.
You wrote in Kira Dansky rather than choose in my mail-in vote. Nice.
But I think that the best option, for the nation, in the large picture, would be having the Democrat in office, someone that would try to raise everybody. And then, like I said, regression is easy. Once we raise and try to make everything better for everyone, increase everybody's personal freedoms, we can work on saying, see, this doesn't work. This is wrong. And we have these studies.
A woman in office would be nice. It would also be nice if, you would know, just based on that they were a good person.
Okay. I just want to make sure you saw it.
Hillary wasn't perfect, but I wanted her in. I would have preferred her to Donald Trump, probably, but I guess that's damning with faint praise.
Right. Now, to be fair, and I will say, when Trump got elected...
Still, go back to that day, right?
When I heard he got elected, and how all the Republicans had talked smack about him, this was going to be the worst thing, Hillary would be the first female president and Donald Trump will be the last Republican president. I thought the government was going to be at a standstill for 4 years. I thought the Congress would just...
Barry would have beat Trump.
Barry or Bernie?
Yeah, Bernie would have beat Trump, hands down.
Bernie, yeah. Agreed. That was so upsetting.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a spectacular political shit show when Trump got elected. I did not imagine...
Too radical for most.
I never imagined the entire Republican Congress just rolling over for Trump the way they did. That was just flabbergasting.
What does that tell you?
Well, remember, McConnell and a few others went to Trump on some vacation with that Russian, basically the Russian spy.
You think Bernie would have been worse than Biden in progressiveness?
I don't think Bernie would have focused on gender
Social
or
issues.
sex issues.
I don't think he would have focused on social issues. He's much more an economically driven guy from everything I've seen, yeah.
He is economically driven, but remember, there's pictures of him being arrested at civil rights demonstrations.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he doesn't concern himself with that, but for the longest time, those pictures are 60 years old.
Right.
And for the longest time, his rhetoric at least, and I believe the legislation he has signed on has focused more on economics.
Yes.
And helping, lift up the lower classes and whatnot.
Right.
So
right.
I would expect more of that from him as the president, hopefully.
Right.
And, that helps trans people too.
Right. And I'm saying by giving the states a healthier, more robust economy, rising tides lift all ships.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, we can say, hey, these policies don't work. We need to protect single-sex spaces or women's separate spaces.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they are already giving us the opportunity to demonstrate that. Yay.
Well, I was on Twitter the other day, and NPR had posted an article about, what was the title?
Y'all seen the Pudding Fingers ad?
despite lack of evidence, certain sports organization bans trans athletes. And it had a fact check that there were actually several medical studies that prove that trans women maintain physical and
Twitter fact checked NPR.
yes.
Can we also get rid of guns? There's too many school and mass shootings. Girl, what you smoking? I love you, and I don't disagree, but that was like one heck of a left turn there. Like, girl.
No, I don't know if getting rid of guns is going to be the issue, but I do agree that something needs to be done. And I think we can start with registering and training.
Assault rifle, smoking really good weed, LOL. See, I had a feeling.
But what was it? The Brady bill from the 80s that banned, practically banned assault weapons. It worked.
Really, really good weed. Well, California. That goes without saying. I hope. God, we hope. And Australia banned basically everything. And they don't have anyone, because they had a bad school shooting like 25 years ago or some shit. And now they were headed the same way we were, basically.
Were they?
Yeah, and they just cracked down on all that shit, and wouldn't you know it, it nipped the problem in the bud. And they don't have a public mass shooting problem, which is one of the most horrifying phrases. If that isn't the most dystopian thing I've ever, having to utter that phrase more than once in my life. Wow, just, we have a problem. A real one. That's how anyone can just sit and be like, oh, no, we're good. You don't need to do anything. Everything's fine. Stay the course. No. Yes, ban assault weapons and create real restrictive access laws. Right. Yeah, regulations. When something's out of control, trying to rein it in is probably the best way to go, I would think. I think that goes through everything, from children to animals to your yard to, general public behavior. Man, I'm a history weirdo, and I've been looking at a lot of English history lately because I'm writing a book that's set in England. So, some of the stuff that was a social trend, I wish I could think of an example off the top of my head. I want to say those stupid pointy shoes. And it's just dumb stuff. They'll become a social hazard because they will take the trend to its logical extreme that then becomes completely impractical and becomes literally a general hazard to the public. I have a rare anti-cult single action that I was gifted when I was in defense. Don't want to part with it. I don't think you should have to. It's not really what... it's sort of a different... And that's the issue. Nobody wants to actually debate where to draw that line. I think a lot of people have far too much emotion invested in this particular topic. And my kid has no idea I have this. Well, that sounds like an heirloom more than a gun. You know what I mean? And he won't know. For example, one might have an heirloom plate that you hang on the wall because it's not really a plate. Your grandmother made it in the 1920s or something in the old country. It still shoots. Nice. No, I'm not saying it's not actually a gun. I'm saying it qualifies more as an heirloom.
You need a hand up?
Never underestimate a child's ability to snoop. That's very true. I have to agree with you there. What I mean is children shouldn't get access to their parents' weapons. Agreed. They have no need of them. I suppose if you're really serious about it, after a certain age, you should probably teach them to use them. But, when they're bigger.
Well, the problem with the United States is you have to look at the legalities.
There shouldn't be weapons.
I disagree.
Well, and your bare hands can be weapons if you want them to be. Okay, that's not... Unfortunately, I don't think that's a practical suggestion in any way.
God made man, Sam Colt made him equal.
Oh my God. military culture. Where do you come out with this stuff? There shouldn't be guns. And see, that's the kind of thing, I just don't know if you can really put that genie back in the bottle like that. You know, and just get rid of them altogether forever. I mean,
it is a weird thing.
I'm just kidding. Oh, okay.
Last month,
Weirdo.
we took our son to the park, and there was a guy at the park with a full-size Beretta.
This is a playground.
Yeah.
This is not a woods. This is not a hiking park. This is a giant, multicolored, brand new, shining playground crawling with small children.
And he had his sidearm hanging from his belt in full view. Like, just
Mind you,
as
if you're
you
a
do.
kid, this is like at your eye level.
Right. And, you know, yeah, I could see that the holster had a lock on it. So, but it was just a pressure lock.
Wow,
Well-
what the fuck? That's what I said. That's what I said. And I just thought to myself, what sort of a person thinks that, not just thinks that that's a good idea, but says to themselves, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's what I'm going to do.
Right. You know, and then when
Yeah.
I took my mom to the hospital the other day, there was a gentleman in the ER, and I thought he just had his phone on a clip on the side of his pocket.
Oh, God.
But no, it was an empty holster. He was at the hospital, took the gun and put it in his car, and he's walking in the hospital waiting to be seen with an empty holster.
And the gun's in the parking lot.
I'm assuming the gun's in his car.
You're right.
But what? Fucking old people.
What is that? Oh, I hope that's a lizard.
The gecko?
Is it a gecko? Because if it's a spider, it's a really big spider.
Yeah, there was a gecko over there getting some water, and the cat and the dog are.
Okay, they're
very-
chasing it, yeah.
Right.
I just see the shadow.
Yeah, it is a dead lizard. One of them's going to get it.
Okay. Apex predators over there.
They're confused by it.
Poor little gecko. There's lizards here. How cool is that? Says the Ohio girl. You know, we don't fucking have those there.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, if you look at this, the Second A, what we need to do is I think if we follow the spirit of the Second Amendment, that would curb a lot of the violence and the violence and the mass shootings
How would you
that we have.
characterize the spirit of the Second Amendment?
Well, look at the words. What is it?
A well-armed militia being necessary.
A well-regulated,
Oh,
not a
right.
well-armed, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the defense of the country. The rights of the people to bear arms will not be infringed. However, we do not have a militia, and it is not well-regulated.
Well, we get militias.
We have state militias, but a militia would be answerable to the federal government, and that's what we don't have. We have a bunch of far-right cosplayers running around in the
Stop
forest.
shaking the camera.
Sorry. We have a bunch of far-right cosplayers who want to play G.I. Joe, run around in the forest with assault rifles to feel better about themselves. Not in the
They might
spirit.
hear you.
It's Tennessee.
Right, they might hear you.
It's okay. You know, and the fact that, you know, the 2A does not apply to everybody. Have you ever seen those videos where, you know, you got a white guy walking down the street with an assault rifle? The cops pull up, hey, what are you doing? Black guy walking down the street with the assault rifle, he gets guns drawn on him.
Right. I wouldn't even do that at all if I were him. That's practically
Right.
suicide.
Well, you know, in Ohio, I think it was Ohio. Ohio is an open carry state. There was a black guy who was buying a pellet
Racism
gun.
never left.
Right. He was buying a pellet gun for his son, and a woman called in saying that there was a black guy pointing his weapon at people. Cops saw him and shot him dead. They did not give him a warning. They shot him dead.
My recollection. Thank you for the link, MD. Can't wait to see it after this stream. rock and roll. The way I recall it, it was a real gun. He was in the hunting section. He was looking for a gun. And he was picking it up and looking through the sites and whatever to purchase the fucking gun. You know, like you do. And, yeah, some woman was like, oh my God, there's a black man pointing a gun in the gun section of the fucking Walmart. And, yeah, they shot him. So, yeah, because we can't have black men buying guns, apparently. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they just... There is perhaps an argument that they maybe just shouldn't sell fucking guns in Walmart. But, you know, that's a whole nother topic, really. And this is up in the north, you know. Now, this was a few years ago. How about not selling guns? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's that. You know, I mean, part of it is there's this very strong undertow in American culture of... I mean, frankly, the people who pioneered this country came over here to do what the fuck they wanted. So there are 8 places to buy guns in 2-mile radius of my house. Holy shit. They should really be at a specialty shop. Now that I'll agree with. You know, like smoking stuff. What? I forgot. It's okay. I do that all the time. Kids get access to them easily. Right, yeah. No, literally in our Walmart, the hunting section and whatever, and camping is right next to the toys.
You know, I will say, I think Walmart should be allowed to sell hunting equipment. Yeah, I mean, it's camping. It's not necessarily, you know.
But see, then there's different, again, sort of cultural perspectives on these sorts of things, because I've met people who see guns as a tool.
Right.
Like a hammer.
Do I think...
Yeah, you can kill somebody with it. You fucking shouldn't.
Right. I don't think Walmart should be in the pistol business. I think pistols, you know, that should be...
It's really more of a camping store.
Right, but they...
Like, hunting and camping are not necessarily...
But yeah, but they've also got...
2 parents being tried now for their kids shooting up a school. Parents will begin to be held totally accountable for what their kids access and buy.
Right.
Should they not be? They should be. Right? Good. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. If our children take our vehicle and plow down 5 people, our insurance is responsible for that. We are held accountable for our children's actions. The same should be true for firearms, but there is no firearm insurance. There is no, oh shit, our kid went psycho, now we have to pay the medical bills for 15 kids. And there should be. You know, we should regulate firearms in the same tradition that we regulate
everything
vehicles.
Else.
Right.
Yeah, they should be accountable. Tragic that they will do time as well, but that was their kid who offered a 6-year-old. Oh my God. You're clearly responsible for what your fucking 6-year-old does. Like, there's an argument for if your 16-year-old does something, that might be on him.
Right.
More so than you necessarily, but
you know,
you're a first grader? Yeah.
And this is why a lot of...
Where the fuck did they even get that idea? Yeah, they were like, don't get caught.
The parents said that?
Apparently. Yes, gun owner insurance should be a big mandatory thing.
Right, and just like when you buy a car, the sports car you get has higher insurance than the minivan you get, because people in sports cars take greater risk. An assault rifle or AR-15 or any other similar platform should have higher insurance costs than a sidearm or, you know...
An antique rifle you intend to hang on your wall.
Right.
You know, or something. Like, I mean, that's the other thing, is that a lot of them are, told to keep his ammo low-key. What the fuck? Oh, my God. I bet he felt like the coolest kid in the world for about 10 minutes. Oh, my God.
Man, I had my pocket knife confiscated when I was in the 7th grade.
They wouldn't even let us eat in class. We weren't even allowed to have chips.
No, it was show and tell, and I got this pocket knife for being in the Boy Scouts.
Oh, no.
Right. It wasn't a weapon. It was a freaking pocket knife. It was one of those Swiss Army knives, but I had the U.S. Boy Scout logo on it.
And you never got it back, did you?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I went in Walkman. I lost that way.
Dude, my dad could have gotten it back, but he didn't to teach me a lesson.
Which is that, your dad's a dick.
Yeah.
I got my sewing scissors confiscated in the 9th grade. That's ridiculous, too. Again, your bare hands can be weapons if you want them to be. There are entire martial arts schools devoted to that idea. I had long hair and would cut off my split ends in class. Okay, that's just disruptive. That's great. I love that. That was right after Columbine. Oh, right. I forget we're like exactly the same age. I'm sorry. That was a fun year, right? That was the year they set my school on fire, too. Yeah. I would not be 15 again for all the tea in China. No.
If we were 15, we could go back and make the same mistakes all over again.
That would be pointless. Yeah, that was nuts. Yeah. Oh, God. No, I was going somewhere else with that, though. Shoot. Columbine, those trend-setting kiddos. Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah. And,
It was a thing. School shootings were a thing even before Columbine, though.
not like that. It was the first of its type. Before that, the most notorious one was that fellow. He was a college student. First of all, they were the youngest. I have a new neighbor from Littleton. She was 2 and with her mom at the library the day it happened. All the kids were reuniting with their parents. Trenchcoat Mafia. Yes, forever. Anyways. Doggone it.
Trenchcoat Mafia.
No, before that.
You wouldn't be 15 for anything.
After that.
College shooter.
You're right, yeah, okay. The most notorious case before that was Texas A&M, I want to say it was. And that was in, the 60s. Okay, dude climbed the clock tower with a sniper rifle. And picked off several people before they managed to get him down.
It was not a sniper rifle. It was a rifle with a scope. But yes, not to be...
Okay, he took them out sniper style. At first they didn't even realize what was happening. Because it didn't occur to people there was someone in the clock tower shooting at them. Because this shit just didn't happen, And then he was killed, I think, in the aftermath. And it turned out he had a tumor in his brain. So they've always blamed it on that. And, then these later examples come along and they don't have that excuse, They're not necessarily sick in the head. They're just fucking nuts, So, I don't remember that fellow's name. You obviously remember what I'm talking about. You remember his name?
I do not. I can find out, though.
Yeah. Right, so having a tumor in your brain can really mess with your head, I guess. And that was what people had always blamed that on. And that was the most notorious case before 1998. You think it was, right?
Oh, wow. The second Google search when you type in Texas is Texas school shooting. The only thing that Google recommends before Texas school shooting is Texas Roadhouse.
The restaurant. There's an association I'm sure the Texas Roadhouse wants.
Charles Whitman.
Yeah.
Because when you type in Texas
Waco.
clock, when you type in Texas clock, it pops up. It's the first time.
Yeah.
Dude, ain't nothing going on in Texas but gun violence.
Well,
Remember
wait,
the
when was
Alamo?
it? When was it?
Oh.
Somebody said something about Waco. Yeah. That's not a school shooting. That was
August
the
1st,
federal government.
1966.
Okay.
Actually, it was the federal government, but they started
Waco.
They started the fire themselves.
Okay. We're not talking about that. We're not going there.
Sorry.
All I'm saying is it's not a school shooting. It was a cult. Yeah. So, that's a different sort of crazy people.
Whoa. If we're not going to talk about cults, then we can't talk about trans people at all. So, we got to draw the line somewhere else.
Man, that train's already left the station. And now it's schools. Let's not go there. Yeah, we're not gonna
I'm
try.
sorry, I was trying to make a joke.
I know. We're not. See, she's laughing. We're not gonna try and relitigate Waco today. No. That's a different sort of
Crazy.
violence, where a lot of people were killed. Thankfully, that sort of thing happens less often. I was a little young for Waco. One of the first things I remember seeing in the news, though, was Heaven's Gate. That's probably why I'm not a fan of tracksuits. I know you laugh, but I can't wear one. I was a jogger for years. I've tried. I can't wear them. I hate them, and honestly, I think that's why. I do. I was like 9. And they morons showed this shit on the television. Thousands of cults right now in the I know. I know. And see, like I say, thankfully that kind of thing is less common than the school shootings, implying that perhaps they were forced to drink the Flavor Aid. Yeah. And Jim Jones went around assassinating people himself before, here close to home. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But so, so that kind of shit is on the rise too, I think. I guess is what I'm saying. But I would classify that under as a different flavor, maybe of like, if we're talking metaphorically ice cream, one of them is butter pecan and the other one is fucking pistachio. It's the same thing, but a totally different flavor.
I go for some pistachio ice cream.
You have all the pistachio ice cream because I don't want any. It's just nasty.
It's delicious.
Ugh.
She has no taste.
Nut flavor. You have no taste, literally.
Yeah, true.
Mr. Cauterized sinuses over here. All right, come on. Talking about nut flavored ice cream is good. I know I just named 2 nut flavors, but because we're talking about nuts, right?
These nuts.
So I made a joke too, and I think it went over everyone's head, including my own.
It's okay. You're short.
Everyone's short to you. It made me throw away my black 97 Nike Decade shoes. Yeah, because what are you going to do? Wear them? Creep me out wearing them. Yeah, right.
Why?
Because those were the shoes.
Yeah, but just shoes.
Right, no, they're not just shoes anymore. This is what I'm saying. Butter pecan, I'm seeing this is, I was just using 2 different nut flavors because we're talking about different flavors of nut, right?
I just... That is one thing I don't get, If, the hats I wear are associated with the mob. If I want to, if I want to disassociate myself with the Irish mob, I don't not wear my hat.
See, it's not about other people's association.
Oh.
It's not about that. It's not about you're worried other people are going to associate you with Heaven's Gate. No. I was like 8 or 9 years old watching this on a loop on the news of these people lying on the bunk beds with their feet sticking. I remember, in the bags on their heads and shit, okay? Probably for the first time coming to understand what death was, okay? Like, it's about your own association, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, so, I get in front of a mirror in a tracksuit and think about death. And that's not going to make me feel like jogging, It's just not motivational at all. the aliens, oh my God. That fucking comet was actually really interesting until,
Until it wasn't.
Yeah. Here's the way to ruin some fun science activities for kids, eh? Yeah, thanks a lot, dudes. And dudettes.
They're not knocking on heaven's door. Sorry.
Whatever. Just don't ever play the Warren Zevon version of that song ever again, and I'll forgive you.
Oh, I love Warren Zevon.
You can play it. I don't want to hear it, because he's literally dying, and you can hear it in his voice, and the irony makes me so sad.
Oh.
I was young, too, and it affected me. Also, this one, execution. It was trauma, the way death was talked about so liberally. Yeah. It was just like this fascinating news item, and eventually they did sort of decide that kind of thing was distasteful, and that maybe it was actually encouraging copycats, and maybe they shouldn't just play that kind of thing on an endless loop. But, not until after 9/11, obviously. We don't talk about some fucking television-induced trauma. Ugh.
I don't know. Every time we talk about 9/11, I just want to say, Google loose change.
Yeah. What was that we were saying earlier about one of the media's main jobs being to like all of it, right? That's like one of the media's main jobs being to groom you and stuff. So there you go.
Like the reporter who was talking about Building 7 falling 15 minutes before it fell.
Hey, ladies and Rad Dad, I gotta go, but I might be back. Bye, Mary. Nice hanging with you, girl. This has been a fun one. What time is it?
2-ish.
1:59, ladies and ladies. The gentleman has it. Goddamn. We need to watch.
Well, if you look at the way the sun is
I was
peaking,
today
it
years
was-
old, finding the Twitter as actual porn videos, and I was watching a new Menno video when then scrolling up. Oh my god!
Yeah, I found adult stuff on Twitter and I was really shocked. I was like, I was at work scrolling through looking for something and I was just like, no.
And then you're like, wait a minute, 12-year-olds can access this shit.
Yeah.
You don't even have to click on anything. Sometimes it's just there. In an ad. Like, I've seen ads.
I haven't seen ads
titties.
with it.
With titties. I swear. Exactly. First thought. As a mom. Yeah. I mean, my first thought, I think, was, holy shit. And then my second thought was, holy shit.
Yeah. I think I had to describe, I talked to you about it at the time. My first thought was not, oh my God, kids can see this. It was, why does it think I want to see this? Like, I don't know.
And I think I said something along the lines of, you have a penis. So it assumed. I was like, no fucking way. Right?
Twitter's not where I go for my porn.
Am I really seeing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so, are these real bodies? These days, you don't even know, do you? I mean, my God. But
Oh, talking about real bodies, she brings up a good point.
not a deep fake, yeah.
There was a Twitch controversy. Somebody had shared or created a deep fake with a couple of Twitch personalities. So yeah, it's coming. It's
I guess
pun
that
not
would say
intended.
it's here.
Right.
Pun avoided.
Right. But I mean that opens up a whole new idea for the industry. I mean, can you imagine the way the current laws are written for child
Pornos.
pornography? Is it has to be an actual person? Well, so what if you just use AI generated contents to pump out all of this pedophilic material out on the market?
I wish there was more of a movement to get porn off the internet. Or at least to hem it in. Jeez, I'm crow.
To make it not a free service, having it be so readily available is the problem.
Like, I don't know. Generically speaking, nudie pictures, so what? But, like, why? That's not what we're dealing with. The internet is porn. Yeah. Remember that song? The internet is for porn? I've had people sing that song at me. Because they thought it was funny. I think you might be one of them.
I never sing the song because I think we were talking about how porn had influenced technology because porn went over to VHS, which was the final
Nail in the coffin for Betamax?
right, because they were going pretty neck and neck up until that moment, and that's when a lot of the major movie theaters, production companies went over to VHS over Betamax. But
I guess we know who is buying the tapes. Like who the biggest market for tapes was. So nice to have caught a live of yours. Nice chatting with you all. You going, Chicana Feministas? Mwah. You have a good day, hon. See you around later.
I would say, and again, showing my personal bias, the problem I have with porn on the internet is how accessible it is to younger people, because there is that level of desensitization or desensitizing, where you jump past vanilla, and you think that these professional acts are the normal, and children, well,
It artificially accelerates your own development.
right,
Yeah.
if you're thinking butt plugs are the normal, you're like, well, I don't have one. Maybe I should see if I can get one. And
Or just that they're not unusual.
right, or or you go to, oh look, BDSM is normal. It should be acceptable for choking or
Right.
it is a very short path from light BDSM to humiliation and abuse.
It skews your personal Overton window.
And it also goes from there is that desensitization where you go, oh, I want to, where something traditionally vanilla does it for you, and then it doesn't. So you're constantly looking for that next thing to turn you
Escalation.
on. Right.
Yeah. Right.
And
Which
then
is why it resembles addiction. Which is not what sex is supposed to be. That's not. There's something wrong there. That's not how that's supposed to work.
Right. And for myself, I got to this point where what I liked was no longer really doing it for me, and the next stuff up was really just not, concerning. Well, that's why I kind of just stopped.
You reached a ceiling. That's
Yes.
fascinating. I've never heard of that concept.
Well,
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Because I've read accounts, just in my wanderings, of, because a lot of times, the sissification thing, and they'll end up thinking they're a woman. I've read several accounts of things like that. Okay, and they're where they burst through their own ceiling before they realize they've done it, essentially.
Oh.
Which is basically what you were talking about.
Okay.
Being a danger of, artificially accelerating your own development, right? That's an obvious danger of that, is you might get to a point way beyond where you're comfortable before you realize that what you've done. Just in the enthusiasm and the rush of it all.
Okay.
So, in drug culture, that's how you end up dead. But, so, I don't think everyone has that level of self-awareness, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Because usually, and then I guess the ones who do, don't end up writing tragic horror stories years later about where they ended up, I feel like a lot of the demonization of TERFs has been to set up radical feminism as evil so that we can't make any progress against porn. I think that might be part of it.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it.
There's definitely several facets of society that don't like us for various reasons. Because, well, mainly the same reason that if we had our way, we would cost them a shit ton of money.
Right. And this is a point where we disagree with each other. Is she believes that sex work is not real work, and I don't think women should have to do it, but I understand that sex work is often survival work, and many people don't have access or options to anything better, and that if they have to do it, they should be safe and protected. And you just think it should be.
If you're going to go to the extent of protecting them and whatever and making sure they're safe and blah, why not just institute social systems so they don't have to do that shit?
Which I would agree.
Okay then, the end.
Well, no, it's not the end because they haven't done it.
Right, okay, but so we don't need to argue about whether or not it's real work if we just want to get rid of it in the end of the day anyway.
No, we do need to argue if it's real work because it's happening. And even if there were the social network to make sure that women who didn't want to do it didn't have to do it, there will always be someone, male or female, who would want to do it.
Right.
I don't know why. Some people just are exhibitionists and they want to do it. And if it's something that they are doing free of coercion, they should be allowed to.
Well, how about we just do it free of monetary exchange then? We'll make it free of coercion that way. Because if you want to, go about and sow your wild oats and whatever, then fine.
Then is it a job?
If you're not making money doing it, no.
Then,
But why does it need to be? It could be a hobby.
yeah. So why aren't you allowed to monetize your hobby? Just because you disagree with a thing is not a reason to say other people.
No, I think it's actually detrimental to the human psyche over time. I like working nights.
But night shift is a thing.
And it shouldn't be. No one should have to do that. Why is anything open all night? I mean, there's capitalism killing again, really. Like, that's the only reason this shit's open all night anyway. Because it costs some money to close it.
Well, no, it's open all night because they were stocking the shelves at night, and they realized that it was just easier to pay one or two more people to work the cash registers, and let people who work first or second shift come in and get stuff overnight. And antisocial people, and whatever the reason is.
Antisocial people calling me out because I have to agree with that. Why I'm antisocial.
If I'm the reason I'm antisocial, that explains so much of our relationship. Who's
No, it doesn't. We didn't get together until I was in my 30s.
Girl, yes, you are. Did you get that lizard? Did you get that lizard? Look at that smile. I bet you did. I bet you chased it right away.
So if it's 2 o'clock, that means we've been at this for 3 hours.
Yep. And I think we've done halfway decent.
Oh, yeah, no, it's been good. Everybody had a good time. We've had a couple people go already. I think we're going to close it down.
Okay.
Because 3 hours is a pretty good stream. Thanks, everybody, for showing up, and rocking out with us today.
I had fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Wow, I should actually get around to making a community post, and maybe we can do a little discussion, I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys, how you think this went. Directly. So. Yeah, I don't know why this always happens.
What's that?
Well, half the time, like easily 50% of the time, I'll directly ask a question and just get nothing.
Oh.
I don't know if everyone's gone to use the bathroom or what. I don't know. And the number just went up, but sometimes,
There's a lag.
Yeah, basically, I guess is what I'm saying. Because earlier we had 2 people going back and forth in the comments, and it said there was only 1 person here. What? There's clearly at least 2 people here. They're arguing with one another.
Yeah. Mary and I were talking at the very beginning, and it said there was nobody there. I'm like, oh, Mary doesn't count. I see the way it is. I think Mary objects to this.
I'd say, yeah, we're a pretty good crowd. This has been, good turnout. Yeah. I think having the extra face on screen, generates interest.
Even if it is mine, I'm sorry.
It was really funny because I came back from the bathroom, I left you in front of the camera, and there were 5 people watching. I was like, oh, fine. Put a man on camera, and all of a sudden everybody swarms over here. I see how it is. Goddamn.
Red mom got ugly. What the hell?
All this time I've had, my secret in my back pocket, my white man I could have had talking for me all along. It's just a shame I've been squandering this resource. Have a good weekend. I appreciate both your perspectives. Thank you. I appreciate you stopping by and participating in everything. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, tax season is wrapping up. Maybe I'll get to come by once every so often.
That'd be cool. It's nice to have someone to turn to and go, oh God, what was I talking about?
And I'm not interrupting her and asking her silly questions if I'm here beside her.
True. You're not taking the kids to the mall there either.
Yeah, they're watching TV.
We're gonna have to go put a stop to that.
Yay! It is too pretty of a day.
Yep. But so, I hate to just cut it off without anybody, AFAB? I don't know how you pronounce that. Handles are fun. No, I know, but there's a space in the... Anyway.
Maybe it's absolutely fabulous, so it's AFAB.
AbFab.
AbFab?
Yeah.
Well, you said there was a space.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
I need an adult.
Tragically. There may not be any such thing.
We're all just faking it.
Giant children.
Yep.
All right. On that note, we have to go and...
See to our children.
Right, yeah.
Everyone, it has been a blast. Thank you again for letting me take up your time and hang out with you and my charming wife. And I hope we were able to entertain you and share some thoughts with you.
So food for thought, maybe.
Yep.
And well, I'll see y'all next week. I'm going to definitely do the Daft Punk thing for Friday, I swear to God.
Daft Punk has lyrics?
One of them does.
Huh.
Yep. They're problematic. So.
Oh, yeah, it's Daft Punk. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Going for that low-hanging fruit I see. That's why she ended up with me.
They don't hang out, though. Oh.
You flatter me, my dear.
All right. So, yeah. We're, bye-bye, Philological. We're going to be working to drag feminism back into the real world. And you know what? I'm working on finishing that silly book, so making progress. The word count's getting kind of ridiculous. The whole thing's up over 115,000 words, you guys. So wish me luck with that, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.